tell Lay's to make a Switch cartridge flavored chip?
Tell them whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, no.
Switch cartridge flavor.
Hold on. Colin, have you licked a Switch cartridge?
No, and I refuse.
You have no room to talk.
Dude, you should do it on the podcast.
Do it right now.
No, I'm not. I do not. I imported one of my cartridges, and I'm not licking Zelda. I am sorry.
No, listen, you have to do it now. So I don't know if you realize that or not, but it's happening, and it's happening at the end of the podcast.
Jesus.
Like, I'm serious. Like, you have to do it. We brought it up. This is a thing.
Yeah, look, you can't bring up cartridge flavored chips and not.
You brought this on yourself.
How did this go from favorite chips to dare?
You just have to like lick the edge, or you don't have to lick the connectors. You just have to lick any part of it, really.
You have to lick the sticker.
Is it gonna ruin my label, my saliva?
Oh God,
no.
Well, unless you've eaten some raunchy shit, but probably not.
Yeah. So okay, look forward to
Maybe
that.
eat some chips
Let's
first.
Let's go back to chips. So you want to talk about your favorite chips?
Yeah, honestly,
bring it.
So off the top of my head, some of my go-to chips are like Funyuns. Funyuns pops up in my head.
Hold on, dude. This podcast is starting off awesome,
dude.
Okay. Are
you excited, Jack?
Funyun? Yes. Is a Funyun a chip? Is the great debate.
Oh,
that is
here
not
we
a
go.
chip, dude.
Okay.
Funyuns are not chips.
Oh my God.
So are we solely only doing potato chips?
You said chips, dude.
Yeah, but okay. So, okay. I guess we should have said.
Listen, this is not the UK, dude. We're not debating if chips or fries,
dude. Okay,
like chips.
Okay, maybe we should have set some ground rules. When I think chips personally, and we don't have to do it this way, but when I think chips, I think like pretty much anything that comes in a bag like that, like Cheetos. Like, because all this stuff is like, I think it's all by the Lay's company anyway, but it's like,
wait. So are you saying
a Cheeto is not a chip either?
Are you saying anything that comes in a bag? Because that is very broad.
Oh my God.
All right. So
pretzels.
Yeah. So
popcorn's chip now.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Here. When I hear chip,
potato.
I think of anything that's a flat potato chip, or like with ruffles, like,
a tiny disc. One might say.
Potato chips.
However,
we'll say that.
Okay, because I would classify a Funyun as a snack.
Funyun is not a chip. Let's just be square on that, guys. Can we agree?
Okay, fair enough. It is not a potato chip. You're right. Of course, it's not a potato chip. I don't know, but I think chips.
Of course.
I have a very broad definition of the word chip. I guess for sure.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, backpedal a little bit. Okay, potato chip. We're gonna talk potato chips. So.
Yeah. So what's your favorite potato chip?
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. It took us 5 minutes to just get the rules.
Okay. So yeah. Well, we know where we're going now. So anyway, potato chips, Lay's. I'm gonna go with either, and I think they're almost interchangeable, and you can disagree with me on this: salt and vinegar or dill pickle.
So I disagree that they're interchangeable.
I think they taste very similar to me.
Well, here's the thing. So vinegar is like the sweat of that one guy you really hate.
Ooh.
You know, can you imagine that guy you really hate? Imagine his sweat. That's what vinegar is. It's not dill pickles.
So what are you getting at?
What I'm saying is they're not interchangeable.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like if you put a plate of dill pickle flavored chips in front of me, I wouldn't think, oh, it's kind of like salt vinegar.
I don't know. They always tasted very similar to me. Personally,
of the two there, I would say that salt and vinegar would be my preference.
Yeah, like I would more if both of them were in front of me, I'd definitely reach for the salt and vinegar first.
See, I've had neither of them because I'm not a fan of like vinegar in general. It's like the one food thing that makes me gag a little.
Really?
Yeah. When you smell it on its own, it's like a raw smell.
Dude, you tell me when you get like a hot plate of like French fries, you don't smother that shit in ketchup and vinegar? Love it.
No,
because I'm not English.
Yeah, what the hell,
Neither
Colin?
are you.
I'm not a big fan of ketchup like that. Ketchup's fine, but I'll go barbecue sauce on my fries any day.
I'm good with that, man. I'm good with that.
Especially Wendy's barbecue sauce. That's the best, objectively the best fast food
Honestly,
barbecue
though,
sauce
I might have to agree with you. Dude, you know what it is? Like, why does it seem like other barbecue sauces from other restaurants are like, I don't know if it's because they're like refrigerated or something, I don't know what it is. It's like it's got a different texture to it compared to Wendy's.
Yeah, Wendy's just does it right.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
They're doing
but
something.
They got.
It's got a bigger mouth on it on the container. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's easier to dip too.
Exactly. But anyway, back to chips. So I've said.
Okay, so we got. So is it fair enough to whittle your 2 down? Because I kind of have 2 down as well that I need to debate in my head. But would it be fair to say, okay, your champion in this match is the salt and vinegar Lay's potato chips? Okay. Let's go to Robert.
Okay, so I'm gonna come out of left field here. There's this like Korean Japanese chip called kalbi.
I knew you were going Korean. I just knew it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, kalbi. It's really good. It's with like small ruffled chips. So like imagine ruffles, but like they're all pretty much uniform, and they're all very like circular. And it's this very like slightly sweet, salty flavor that I've yet to see an American chip replicate.
Oh, no.
And it's very addicting. It's very good.
I don't know.
Would you say, Robert, that the main kind of difference in American chips versus Korean chips or even Asian chips in general is just that Asian chips tend to be a little more subtle and American snacks are more in your face with the flavor?
Yeah, the American snacks are also more in your face with the grease, usually.
Oh, yeah.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd put that probably as like my favorite chip. But if we're gonna cater to the American audience here, I'd probably have to give it to, man, I'd say pretzels, but that's not a chip, right?
Not at all. Funyuns.
Not at all. Yeah.
Funyuns.
No, probably like maybe sour cream onion. Like
what
Ruffles
brand,
sour
though?
cream onion.
Ruffles?
We'll go Ruffles. Yeah.
Ruffles. So okay, that's the one with the ridges.
Yeah, the one with the ridges.
And Collin, yours is the one. Lay's is just kind of the flat, like when you just think of a potato chip.
Yeah, honestly, this has been a pretty long-standing debate with myself too, because I don't know if I like regular chips or Ruffles better. I'm kind of leaning more towards regular chips rather than the wavy chips.
Okay, here's the thing, right? Like you're bringing up Korean snacks. I'm probably going to bring up a chip brand that you guys may not be familiar with, so I'm going to have to try and sell it to you. So I will start with. I'm sorry, is that all yours, Robert?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have 2 as well that I'm having problems figuring out in my head which I like better. And they're very different. So the one that you guys may or may not be familiar with is Grippos. Have you ever heard of that brand of chips? GRIPPO''S Grippos? Anybody?
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Oh, for sure? Are you serious? Okay. I knew you were messing
Is that the guy who made Zippo's like older brother?
Guys, imagine this. Okay, have you ever had the TGI Fridays like potato chips that are like a little bit thicker? They're like baked and a little thicker cut.
The potato. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The potato skins chips.
So imagine. Yeah. So and they're good.
Yeah.
So imagine those. Okay, but barbecue flavored with some of the best barbecue spices imaginable, plus a very healthy dose of brown sugar. A la, yeah, exactly. Like real brown sugar. And these things are like the most packed with, flavor chips I've ever had. And they're Grippos barbecue. They have a lot of different flavors, but barbecue is by far and wide the best. So just imagine that. And apparently they're only like really in the ghetto, which is what I've been told. They're ghetto chips. So, but man, they're so awesome, and I can hardly ever find them. I haven't been able to find them since I moved down here, but Jungle Gyms near IKEA in Cincinnati, that's where I was able to get a big box, and it lasted me like, it was like a bulk size box, right? Like Sam's Club, whatever. And it lasted me, I want to say like a month.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like 2 days.
No, they never went stale, which is scary that they didn't go stale in that amount of time, but what are you going to do? A man makes a choice when he buys a $20 box of barbecue chips,
Okay. And it's always the right choice.
No,
then
I guess
we should do it like Robert then. What is your favorite pleb chip then?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is very easy. This is very easy to say, because this is when I just am in the grocery store and I'm hurrying up, I'm just trying to pack lunch for the week, right? I always grab the sour cream and onion Pringles. I'm surprised neither of you two brought up Pringles, but sour cream and onion Pringles are the go-to. I don't even look at the other flavors. Get me that green can. No, there are not tennis balls in it. Those are Pringles.
I do have that trouble sometimes when I pick up a can of Pringles thinking, I can't wait to play tennis with these things.
Yeah, and then you just get to the court, you got your sweatband on, you open the can like, Aw, these aren't balls.
Yeah, I'm ready to serve it, and then it just shatters in my racket, and I'm just like, what's going on here?
Potato chip fragments just going everywhere.
It would make me so happy if they had like the sealed can top on a can of Pringles, just like they do tennis balls. So every time you open a can of Pringles, all you hear is tss.
Wait a second, they do.
On a can of Pringles?
They have the seal. Colin, when's the last time you had Pringles?
No. It's not like tennis balls. They have like the thing you peel off or whatever, but it's not like the pop tab that they have on tennis balls.
Oh, you mean like a Coke can?
Yeah, it's like a can of soup.
That would be very satisfying. I agree. That would be cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to say, because I'm sure you guys know the Pringles, that I guess those are gonna be going on to the next round. But man, Grippos barbecue chips, find them. They might even be on Amazon. I'm telling you, if you like barbecue chips, they're like the best in the world.
Grippos.
Fair enough. So is the goal here to find a uniform TDP?
No, I mean, not necessarily.
I
can fuck with some sour cream and onion for sure. Here's the thing though, like Pringles are a weird breed to me. Not that I dislike them at all. I love Pringles, but like they're not. I mean, they're all like uniform chips, right? They all look the same. They don't like. They're obviously like manufactured to look like that. Like they're not, it's not like they're cutting a potato or throwing them in the fryer and calling it a day,
Yeah, they are kind of processed.
Right, it's like they process it into like potato meal or something. I don't know how they make them, to be honest. And it's and now they're like stacked in this, like stacked tall in this can. It's like, but also another thing about the can, like how many times have you sat down with a can of Pringles, like, okay, I'm just gonna eat a few, and then next thing you know, half the can's gone.
Oh, every time.
Every time.
Classic.
It's never not happened.
You can never like have enough Pringles. That's the thing about the bag, dude. It's like, you feel like you could eat a lot, but you never feel like you necessarily get like crazy far into the bag even after you eat a lot of them. The thing about Pringles, man, is like you're counting down your days every time you eat a Pringle, man. You're shedding a man tear because you're like, man, you're one Pringle closer to the bottom of this bottle, right, or this bottom of this can.
I get bad with. I get bad with it too. Like I've graduated or evolved, you could say, to the 4 Pringles in 1 bite.
Oh, dude, well, yeah, because you go into that can. It's such a pain in the ass when you reach your hand inside of that can because your hand's too big. So you go to reach for like one individual Pringle, and then next thing you know, you're accidentally grabbing 4, and you're like, fuck, I need to just get my hand out of here. So might as well. Now I have to bring my hand back another 4 times.
You guys are animals. You are savage human beings.
So what I'm saying to you is that Pringles are the clear winner of these 3. It's not even close.
I will agree with the flavor.
By the way, we're not being endorsed by any of this. So
I guess my next question is for both of you. Why sour cream and onion?
It goes great with, it tastes good first and foremost. And then second, it goes great with any meal.
Yeah, and it doesn't get too salty after a while. Like after you eat a bunch of like normal salty chips,
it starts hurting your tongue and your lips and stuff.
No. I will. So that's the one downfall of my salt and vinegar is that, dude, you eat salt and vinegar chips, and after a while, you're like, you got cuts in your mouth, and like those cuts are burning. Yeah, and you're just like, God, like this is so good, like, but this is like so it's so good it hurts kind of thing. Like,
and then you just you got like grease all over your fingers. They're breaking up. Then you have those really bull crap crumbs at the bottom that aren't even worth like going for. You're just like, ooh.
Okay, but I think at least we can all agree on never touch your controllers after you just ate chips, because no one wants that chip.
That's house rule.
Yeah, nobody wants that chip grease covered controller, man.
No, that's rule number 1 in my house, at least. If you're playing video games, like you have to have clean hands when you're touching controllers. Like
I have dry hands from washing my hands so much. Because I never wanted.
See, that's why I love pretzels. Pretzels are the cleanest snack.
They're the cleanest snack,
and you can eat them and then like go right back to your controller. Minimal,
not even feel bad
disgustingness.
About it.
Do you ever go to Costco and just grab like the $20 bottle of like sourdough pretzels that last you like a fortnight?
Yeah, if I had a Costco membership.
Same.
But you know what I mean? Those sourdough pretzels, like those giant tubs.
No, you know what's even better though? Like. Yeah, but the thing that sucks though is like things that are messy usually taste good, like when it comes to food. So you get the, like those pretzels, like the pretzel like pieces or whatever that are like buffalo wing flavored, or like
I do like those.
See, but those things are messy, and it just gives you
those are messy.
It gives you
They're
Cheeto fingers, man.
Yeah, it's not. You can't game with those unless you want to be that dude with the spoon.
Yeah, but let's get this thing started. So welcome to the Tiny Disc Podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, and I'm joined here by Jack Cepeda.
It is the chip hour, apparently.
It is. And also Collin Sparling.
It is the chipping hour.
So I won, right? I won. Pretzels, Pringles.
I guess. I mean, was it something to win?
I mean, I just kind of wanted to debate it. Obviously, like what I think is chips is very wrong. And yeah. Funyuns.
My favorite chip is
it's going to be a running joke now. Just watch.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, you know my favorite chip? Apples.
I don't know. Oranges are pretty good, although you can't really compare them, can you?
Those are a good chip. Chip of the year 2010, I think, were oranges. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So this is the Tiny Disc Podcast, a show about games and life. And we're here to just talk about, let's say, movies for now, right? Let's talk about our hotly anticipated movies of the year.
Highly anticipated movies for the second half of 2017.
Yes. So I think let's each go around and go with one movie that we're all looking forward to, or that you're looking forward to, and probably a lot of other people as well. So Collin, let's start with you. What are you looking forward to? So
just recently, like, I made the decision to actually sit down and watch the original Blade Runner, just like out on a whim, because I've always heard people talk about it. A couple of the YouTubers I watch are like, oh, it's like one of the greatest movies of all time. I've seen it a bajillion times. It gets better like every time I watch it. There's like 7 different cuts of the film. It's like ridiculous. And it has this crazy good lore to it. It's based on a book and all this stuff. And it has this awesome noir, like kind of futuristic vibe to it. And the visual style that it has for a movie that came out in 1981 is just incredible, and it stands up completely. So like I sat down and watched the movie, and I was absolutely blown away by it. So, of course, I'm absolutely stoked for the sequel coming out, which is Blade Runner 2049, starring Ryan Gosling alongside of Harrison Ford. And Harrison Ford, you know, like, you know what I really like is old Harrison Ford, because he just has that really crazy delusional look in his eyes every time he comes on screen now. And it's like, you can never tell if he's just being Harrison Ford, but he just so happens to work in that particular scene that they're filming at the time. Or
like he just kind of stumbles in. It's like, oh, hey guys, what's going on?
He's going crazy. He doesn't exactly know where he is, but he's like got that crazy look in his eye, like he's gonna kill someone.
Yeah.
So like the director's too scared. Like, hey, should we tell him to leave? No, just use it. We'll send him a check later. We'll just
oh man,
go with
it's like damn it, short round, get in the car. Should we tell him he's in the wrong movie? Is he having PTSD right now? Is that what's happening?
Oh guys, it's sad.
Yeah. Yep. So what is it about Blade Runner 2049 that's got you like the most pumped on?
Honestly, like after watching the trailer, the trailer just looks super appealing. It's still got that noir vibe to it with like the futuristic city and the really strong visual sci-fi style it's got going on like from the original. But at the same time, it's got like a nice change of like scenery. It's got like I remember specifically like the desert scenes, like almost like a post-apocalyptic vibe to it, which is I think that kind of has to do with like that's what's going on in the story anyway. It's kind of like a post-apocalypse with something to do with the replicants or something happened. I don't know too much about the story, and I don't really. It's one of those movies I definitely want to go in like blind. It's one of those movies you'd probably like enjoy more the less you know about it. But yeah, like, and I also think like Ryan Gosling is a really good actor. Like he can really pull his weight as a lead. So I'm pretty excited to have him there, and Harrison Ford is definitely a plus. So yeah, I'm super excited about it, man. Definitely hotly anticipated.
You know, I am anticipating it as well, but I am worried just because Blade Runner has always been celebrated as a feat in cinema history.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
It's so inspirational to so much, even outside of movies. I mean, it's inspired comic books. It's inspired music. It's inspired games. I mean, we were just talking about games at E3 just a couple weeks ago that borrow heavily and have borrowed heavily from Ridley Scott's world that he created, and it is one of the most celebrated roles for Harrison Ford. I mean, I can even think I'm not going to spoil anything, but when I'm just thinking about hearing you talking about it and thinking about it, like, oh my gosh, the ending of Blade Runner, the first one, like totally informed and inspired the ending of Inception. If you've seen both of them, it's very similar endings.
Yeah.
Where it kind of leaves it up to, the viewer's mind of what happened and what actually did transpire during the film. I mean, such great dialogue, such great scenes, the music, everything's just so iconic. So with that, I am a little worried about the Blade Runner movie coming out, just because like, how's it going to live up to it? You know, thank goodness they do have a great director. I'm sorry, I'm losing like who the director is for that film.
Dennis Villanueva.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So he did he did The Arrival. He did Sicario, which is an awesome movie as well. Like, I think he is the right pick, and he will treat this series with the respect it deserves. He's a huge original Blade Runner fan, so that gives me confidence. But again, it's just like one of those things, like, this has always been considered one of those untouchable movies, you know, but Hollywood just kind of has that deeper syndrome right now, right, of like rehashing and remixing and reissuing things that people have said you shouldn't touch, and they've been, you know, 50-50 shot, I'd say, of being successful at it so far. So, you know, I am very much looking forward to it. But again, it's kind of, I want to keep it at arm's length. I don't want to get my hopes too high for it. If it is awesome, I'll be the first one to sing its praises from the top of the hill. But until those reviews come out, until I see it myself, like, I'm going to be like more worried than anything. But man, it could be so awesome.
Yeah, like, no, yeah, you bring up a good point. We definitely can't fail to bring that up, that it's got a huge shoes to fill. There's no denying that. Like, Blade Runner is probably one of the most influential pieces of media in the last like 30 years, or, you know. So how it's going to live up to that, I have no idea, because it could very easily come out and be one of those movies where it's like, man, it's okay, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but all of the directors, you know, his last 2 or 3 films have been highly celebrated.
Yeah, I can't see it. I don't think I've seen any of his work, to be fair. So
you should check it out, because I think his style lends itself really well to the Blade Runner universe.
And with that movie coming out, it's like 3 months, right? It's like October, like first week of October,
something like that.
I think it's like its release date. Yeah, so we have about 3 months left to wait to see if it'll live up to its original hype. Jack, what about you? What are you hotly anticipating this year?
Easily, War for the Planet of the Apes. I was the last person in the world to think that the remake of Planet of the Apes, the original of this new trilogy, right, was going to be any good. And I kept reading the reviews. I was like, wow, maybe. But it was definitely something I just brushed off initially. It's just like, this is just another stupid rehash. This is going to be like just as bad as Fantastic Four was, just as bad as a Power Rangers movie. You know, that was kind of the file folder I was putting in. Like, just forget about this. This is going to be an also ran this year. Ended up being an awesome movie. And I thought the story was great. I thought Andy Serkis's acting was phenomenal, as always. That guy never mails it in. And whenever Andy Serkis is in a movie, I always pay attention, because his acting skills are so just elite, really.
Pristine.
He's operating on an elite level that a lot of actors can't achieve. So Matt Reeves is directing it. And it's also of note that Matt Reeves is following up with next year with The Batman. Coming out in 2 years from now, 2019, I think, is when it's slated for release. But anyways, I think it's July 14th is when War for the Planet of the Apes come out. And I really want to see how the trilogy ends, because the first 2 movies were so good, such a surprise, and then just polishing it. And Woody Harrelson is in this one, and anything with Woody Harrelson, you know, is destined to be entertaining on some level, whether it's a train wreck or whether, you know, he actually does a great job. So
snowballs.
That's easy. I mean, yeah, he was in Zombieland. Like, come on, Woody Harrelson's awesome. So, really, I'm just looking forward to this all the way around. And the trailers look very, very promising as well.
Yeah, see, the reviews came out pretty recently for it too, and the reviews are praising the hell out of this movie. It's shaping up to be a very good movie. Like right now on Rotten Tomatoes, I think its critic score is 96%.
Whoa!
Granted, this is still early reviews, right? So you know, can't take it with a grain of salt, I suppose. Sure. But still, it's looking very promising.
Yeah, and I want to add to that whenever a studio or a game developer, any real media property releases its reviews early, it's typically because they feel very strongly about the film and they think that it's going to help the film's release. You know, it's not 100% guaranteed, but more often than not, it's a good sign when reviews are out early, and it's kind of a reason to maybe hold back when reviews aren't out until after the movie's released, right?
Right. See, I remember I watched the first Planet of the Apes movie, like the first new trilogy that they've been doing. That was the one with like James Franco in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember seeing it and not being like completely blown away, but like I thought it was a good movie, but I didn't expect, you know, that it'd flesh itself out into what it is now, this like beloved revival trilogy.
James Franco is one of those actors that I can't quite put my finger on it, but I hate him. and I don't have a great defense for that. I just don't like anything about him, but I do watch his films. I've seen Pineapple Express, not my favorite movie. I've seen what's that,
the OG Spider-Man trilogy?
Yeah, he wasn't great in that either. And what about the movie The Last Night? I can't remember what it's called, the apocalyptic one with Emma Watson. You know what I'm talking about. He's in that. I didn't think he was great in that.
This Is the End.
And then, yeah, that's it exactly. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but I watched it. But also Planet of the Apes, I was watching it despite him, James Franco, but I thought he did a good job. You know, I have to give it to him. I thought that was a great performance.
You know, it's funny because like,
fair enough.
So you don't even like him when in his comedic roles either.
I just, something about him. It might be that stupid mustache. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Honestly,
I just don't like the guy. He's not likable to me.
You kind of have the same thing that I have with like Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell, like when he plays any serious roles, I just cannot take him seriously. I don't know what it. I don't know if it's his face or if it's like, or if he's just like overacting in all the serious roles he does. But like, I just, something about Colin Farrell, dude. I just can't. Like, I cannot take him seriously.
Whatever happened to him? Did he kind of go off
He was
face
in
the
last Harry Potter movie.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
okay.
that
I think some people take issue with you calling that a Harry Potter movie.
Or, you know, the world of Harry Potter.
It's in the universe.
By the way, I'm the last man on earth to defend Harry Potter. Like, say what you want. Like, that's just not my generation.
Fair enough. And when does War for the Planet of the Apes 3 come out? It's pretty soon, right?
Yeah, July 14th.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, pay attention,
so,
Robert.
It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Oof.
it's coming up.
Yeah. So what I'm kind of anticipating this year, just because this year we've seen success in the DC franchise in terms of live action movies.
I don't like where this is going at all.
I'm excited for Suicide Squad 2. No, I'm kidding. I can't wait to see Jared Leto play Joker again. What I'm excited for is the Justice League movie, because originally I wasn't that excited for it because, you know, they were 0 for 2, you know, but now they're 1 for 3. And that's just a little bit of hope I need to see like maybe Justice League might actually end up being an all right movie.
So wait,
Tell me when you're ready.
do they have a? Oh, I'm sorry. Do they have a cast like who's playing who yet for that? Like who's playing Martian Manhunter? Do they know that yet?
I don't think he's going to be in this. Yeah, I think it's a limited Justice League. I think it's Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg.
And
Aquaman.
Did they say who's playing Cyborg yet? Who's playing Cyborg?
Oh, I forget.
I mean, he's cast. Like he appears in trailers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
yes,
cast.
yeah, he's definitely there. Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher. I don't know if I know
who
who
that is.
I don't know. All I know is he needs to say "booyah" a lot.
Is that a character trait? Does he do that in the comics?
Is he Teen Titans?
He does it in Teen Titans.
Okay.
I can't say if that's his actual
Yeah, I
character.
don't
I
know.
want to say that isn't his actual character.
Probably not, but Teen Titans, the Cartoon Network cartoon Teen Titans was the best.
Confession, guys,
Sure.
I've never seen Teen Titans.
Oh, it's so good. There was so much like there was such a dark cartoon for a kid show.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. It went places I didn't expect it to for just like a little kiddie
They're
show.
like, hey, we're gonna have this episode of Teen Titans where basically Robin deals with PTSD, so that's cool.
Whoa, crazy.
Yep.
I seem to remember that there was a pretty solid GameCube game based on Teen Titans.
I remember that. I never got to play it.
So,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Robert, you tell me when you're ready for me to tell you why this is going to be a bad movie.
Well, okay, so I probably have, like, I'm ready for it because I know everyone in the world's thinking, oh, this is going to be a bad movie. And I also am, like, if I were going to bet, I'd bet that this is going to be a bad movie. But I want it so badly to just be all right. Not even good, just an okay film.
Just somewhat defensible.
Yeah. Because, like, Wonder Woman, I can defend that easy.
Sure.
That was a good film.
You don't need to.
Yeah, it's hard to defend Man of Steel and Superman v Batman.
Okay.
But yeah, I just want the Justice League to happen. I want it to be good. Why are you snickering at me,
Because,
Colin? This is rude.
every time I see
That was
like
rude.
like people arguing that like recent DC universe movies are good, I just see that like that scene in SpongeBob where SpongeBob rips off his nose and he's just like, yeah, it's good, damn it, it's good.
Yeah, no, like, look, don't get this idea that I'm deluded and think that all the DC movies so far have been spectacular and worth 10 out of 10, and the whole world doesn't know what it's talking about. I'm fully aware that I'm betting on the losing horse here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this not a movie that has also lost its director in Zack Snyder?
I think Zack's still directing it.
I thought he pulled out of it for family issues. He had a tragedy in his family. I thought he pulled out.
Was that Zack Snyder?
That's not what I'm
Was
seeing.
that the dude who had his daughter pass away or something, right?
Yeah,
Is that Zack Snyder?
I think so. I think so. Might want to look that up. But all right, let me. While you look that up, I want to talk about why I think it's gonna be not great, and it kind of is all boiled down to two very simple facts. One, the Wonder Woman movie was great, meaning that it is possible to make Wonder Woman a very interesting character and the center of a great compelling movie. And then two, we need look no further back than Batman v Superman to see that exact same character terrible. I thought she was terrible in that movie.
She was very boring in that
So
film.
Very bland.
Real quick, I have not seen Batman versus Superman, but like,
Okay.
what's your guys' verdict on it? Just to get an idea.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
The CGI was all right.
Okay. Is it
much CGI. It had that
worth
syndrome.
watching? Is it worth watching?
If you're going to watch Justice League, probably.
Okay.
But if you're not that interested or invested,
I
probably
mean, the only
not.
attachment I,
I mean,
really
it-
had to this whole thing is I watched the Justice League cartoon when I was little. That's about it.
It's okay. Here's the thing about Batman v Superman. I think it's worth having on in the background while you're doing other stuff. And then when action kicks up, then look at the screen a couple times and be like, oh,
Cool.
yeah,
That's
that's
okay.
really it. That's the best
All
I
right.
can say. And I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
But that's why I think Justice League is going to be bad, because Wonder Woman can be good. We all know she can be good. And they just kind of really had her so one note and so just really uninteresting in that movie. So I just feel like they don't know how to treat that character. And how important is it now to cash in on the Wonder Woman fame? You know,
Right.
They need to be rewriting parts, reshooting, getting her featured much more heavily. I think this kind of reminds me back to the Iron Man days, right? Where no one really expected Iron Man to be anything great, but it ended up being a fantastic movie in a lot of people's opinions. And they're like, oh man, we need to like really feature Robert Downey Jr. When they first told me he was going to be Iron Man, I was just like, this sounds terrible, you know, but they proved everybody wrong with that movie.
And now he's one of
Yeah,
the
I
most
mean,
highest
that
paid actors
movie-
of all time.
yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
that movie sparked basically the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Or at least like where it is today.
Yeah.
Living that Tony
And I think
Stark
that's the
life.
trouble that DC's running into, is that DC wants to kickstart their own DCCU as fast as possible to catch up with Marvel. But the problem is Marvel had at least an Iron Man film, a Captain America film, and a Thor film before they even talked about doing an Avengers, right?
They're definitely trying to cram a lot of lore, right, in a shorter period of time. They've got a lot less runway to work with, and I just think it's showing in the quality movies coming out. I don't think Justice League is going to be good, but will I go see it out of sheer morbid curiosity? Perhaps. You know, I'll catch a matinee for a discount.
Here's the thing I've always thought about. So I'm going to try and say this without being as spoilery as possible. You know what happens at the end of Batman v Superman, right, Jack?
Yeah, I was there. I was sitting right next to you.
Yeah. So how much better would it have been if that happens at the end of Justice League? I feel like it would have, like, because they were going for an emotional payoff
Yeah.
that was not set up well. But
Yeah.
had they given it time to simmer, maybe throughout another film, I think
Yeah.
it would have been a much bigger emotional payoff.
It's a weird thing. I think they were going for their Gandalf moment too early. Is really what I think
Oh, well,
happened
that
there.
just
I
kind of
think
spoils it.
Not really.
You're talking like,
I mean,
I
he
guess not, but
the comic book happened like what, in like 92, like
90 something, yeah.
Yeah.
talking like
come on,
Gandalf
Colin.
and the Fellowship kind of thing, or
I won't spoil any further. I
Okay.
apologize.
okay.
Watch the
Yeah.
have the movie on the background while you're on Twitter or something. Like it's not a great movie.
Okay.
Actually, just
Yeah.
YouTube the ending now, because the whole end scene is on YouTube for free.
And it's worth watching, I think, just in terms like because it looks really cool. Yeah, I think the action and choreography is pretty well done.
Is it Dragon Ball Z the movie part 2?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. 1,000,000,000%, yeah. Just like the end
Okay,
of
that might
Man
be
of
worth
Steel.
watching because I honestly like. Not like a huge DC fan, but I actually really enjoy Man of Steel mostly because of I'm like this is a Dragon Ball Z movie, like Robert talked about. But
Man of Steel was better.
really,
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
I liked Man of Steel, man. I'd watch it again.
I'd watch that movie again too.
So I don't know. I just hope that Justice League kind of carries the torch that Wonder Woman has laid out this year and kind of lives up to being a good movie. Because keep in mind, in the Justice League, they're basically introducing 3 new superheroes. They're introducing the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. And they all seem like they have very distinct personalities. And, you know, when you try to introduce that many core characters in one movie, granted, it's going to be like, 3 hours long?
Yeah.
But
Is it really 3 hours long?
2 hours, 50 minutes runtime.
50? Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, as of now, who knows that'll change? Because it'll come out in like November 17. So there's still time.
Wow.
But yeah, it's going to be a long movie. So it's going to have to be very good to keep people interested for all that time.
More
But
importantly,
I'll say again. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say like more importantly, the Russian film called Guardians, aka the Russian version of the Avengers, is coming to Blu-ray overseas, which
Oh my
in
God.
which their Avengers includes a man bear.
Is he the Superman bear?
Dude, I don't know, but I just like in your spare time, just look up a trailer for this movie and tell me it doesn't look incredible.
What's it called?
Guardians.
Just Guardians.
Just Guardians.
Just
It's
the
a
trailer
Russian
for that.
film.
Oh gosh. I can
Interesting.
only wait for that man bear.
Oh, dude, that just makes the trailer. It's perfect. But I digress.
Okay. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. So I think that kind of wraps it up, right, for our hotly anticipated movies. Kind of a mixed bag, I think, from the 3 of us here.
Yeah.
Good stuff all around, except your pick, Robert. I just don't have.
Thanks.
I just don't have the
It's certainly
confidence.
the most controversial.
Yeah, I just don't have the confidence that they're going to do what needs to be done. They need to cash in on Wonder Woman. I just don't think they will be able to. Am willing to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but worried.
See, I think part of my anticipation is more like I just want the closure. I want to like. Right now, I'm in like a box where it's like I don't know if it'll be good or bad. I just want like if it's bad, just let me know that it's bad.
Just
so
tell
I can
me.
be done with this.
Just tell me.
You know.
You're just talking. You sound like a sad ex-boyfriend right now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Abused.
If it's over, just let me know it's over.
Yeah. Don't text me. Just tell me to my face that that Justice League is bad.
Look, you blocked me on all the social media, and I still like just tell me to my face if you don't love me anymore.
Robert, just do what your mother told you. If you love it,
Yeah.
let it go.
Robert, I have bad news. Batman has blocked your number.
Uh-oh.
He
That's
blocked you on
fine. I
his
don't want that
bat phone.
broody guy. Oh, boy, he's so broody. I don't need that.
All right, yeah, we can move on. Though.
All right.
Yeah, so let's move on. Have you guys heard that news that there's this new console coming out, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Xbox One X, but nobody cares about all them graphics. Everyone wants the 16-bit games.
I need less
Yeah.
Ks in my life, right? I don't need 4Ks.
Yeah,
I'm good
exactly.
with 0.2K.
Yeah, I saw this GIF. It was like
Point two.
or it was a tweet. It was like Xbox One X gets announced, crickets. SNES Classic Edition gets announced, and then it's just a bunch, like an army of puppies just running.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so I don't think there is a way to obtain it yet in America.
Nope.
The release date's like late September.
According to
right? Like September.
Yeah, so September 29th, off the top of my head.
I want to say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is on Nintendo's website, but they've said retailer, like details on the retailers will come soon.
Well, last I checked,
I'd imagine like,
I checked in all my Facebook gaming groups, which go apeshit over this stuff. And all of that, like, there's been like no say that pre-orders have gone up yet. Apparently, the UK you can pre-order for the UK systems.
yes.
Oh,
And on eBay UK, people are already scalping it and then selling out for real high prices.
yeah, you can definitely if you got $600, you can get one.
So
Yep.
yeah. So the notable thing about the UK version is that the console actually looks different. It looks like the what was it? The no. Like, what would you call that, Jack?
What do you mean? What to call it? Call it what it is? It's the Super Famicom.
Is it the Super? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, guys, listen. We are. Hold on. We need to treat this with the proper respect. Okay. The Super Famicom is the most beautiful home console ever created by human hands.
It was pretty slick looking.
Full stop. It is the awesomest looking console. That's the one I really, really, really want. I don't know if I'll be able to get it, but man, the Super Famicom with the colored buttons on the front looks so nice.
Yeah, ours is so blocky in comparison, man. It's so ugly.
Yeah, the North American one is mad ugly compared. It's just, I don't know where the design was going. Also, it's kind of a point of debate of whether or not North America's SNES Mini, whatever classic you want to call it, has the proper buttons. Okay, like I don't know if you remember on Super Nintendo, but 2 of the buttons are concave and the other 2 buttons are convex. And it's like really hotly debated whether or not they're going to, and they didn't do that on Super Famicom. They only did that in North America. And so there's kind of a debate going on because you can't really tell from pictures whether or not they replicated that or not. And it's going to be really weird if they don't.
Yeah. So like the cool thing is though, actually, so in Japan, so they have the Super Famicom Classic or whatever, wherever it's called. But obviously, for the Super Famicom, unlike the original Famicom, they're not going to have like the controllers that go on the side. So they're not going to have the tiny like thumb-sized controllers like they did for the Famicom.
No,
Classic.
they're going to be man-sized.
Yeah, they're going to be man-sized controllers over in Japan.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, getting it down to the nitty-gritty here, this is going to be a hotly anticipated item, and it's, I mean,
already is.
Yeah, it already is. And whether or not they actually make enough is the huge question. According to Reggie, they're going to make a shit ton more than they did for the NES Classic, but we'll see about that.
I can't take that seriously.
Yeah, no.
Though. Nintendo's always been about manufactured rarity. Like, look at Amiibos in the early days, right? And look at, the NES Classic when that came out. It's like, you can't get your hands on an NES Classic anymore.
No.
Hold on.
Or if you do, you're paying a lot of money.
Robert, maybe you're giving them too much credit, when you're saying manufactured scarcity. Like, maybe they just are incompetent. We have to explore that possibility. Maybe they just don't know how to get it done. Seriously, they're always
That's
short.
fair.
They're always
That's
short.
fair.
They just Nintendo's one of the most risk adverse companies in gaming, and they just don't want they don't want to take a loss. But the thing is, they're basically printing their own money. As many of these they manufacture, they are going to sell. The thing that really worries me about this SNES Classic is that they've already come out and said, don't worry, we're making many more. You should be able to get one. But they've already come out and publicly stated that this year only.
Yeah, actually, I read I don't know if it was on Polygon, but I read a story that said they're only going to be selling the console for 3 months.
Oh gosh! And during the busiest 3 months,
of course, yeah. And that takes us what? So September, October, November. Is that gonna? Yeah, December. So it's gonna take us up to up through Christmas time. That's it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like no matter how badly you want one, like you're gonna need to work the hardest in your life that you've ever worked to try and get a game.
No.
Here's
What's going to happen. They're only going to produce one NES Classic, and then they're going to have the Nintendo official Hunger Games for it. Yeah,
in Minecraft.
Yeah, the 11th Hunger Games. Yeah.
So hold on, let's some basic facts here. So it's $80.
Right.
Okay, less games, so it's more expensive than the Nintendo Classic.
More expensive,
and fewer games. How do you guys feel about it? It's averaging roughly about $4 per game.
Yeah, it's a 21 total.
I don't know what their justification is for it. I mean, from face value, obviously greed, because then they obviously know people will pay more for less. Like they'll pay the $80 for it. I'll pay the $80 for it. Not gonna lie. I don't know how they would go about justifying it. Maybe, these games are longer. There's a lot more playtime here for sure.
Especially with Final Fantasy 3.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 3. Yeah. And we'll get to the games lineup. But I don't know, man. Like, what do you think? Like, I don't know how you really justify that. But 21 games for $80 is like, $60 for 30 games. I thought was kind of crazy before. But
well, as you and I have know all too well, like buying SNES games has only become more expensive as the days and hours go by.
Right.
Like a copy of Earthbound, just the cartridge loose, no box, no manual, nothing, is over $200.
Right.
For one game. You know, most of the games that are in here are around the $50 mark if you were to buy a console and then try and get the loose carts.
Right.
They're up there. They're games you want to play. They're games you want to own.
For sure.
Kudos to them for that. So, that's one argument. But at the same time, I think that there is definitely evidence to point to that, guys, this is just a different shell. This is the exact same system as the NES Classic. It's just, another Raspberry Pi-esque machine with the exact same processor on it, just with different ROMs dumped into it.
Yep, exactly.
And a different shell of controller. So, I mean, how expensive can it be? Why would they have to charge more? The answer is because they can. And they could charge, we're seeing it on eBay now. They could charge well above what they are charging, and crazy people would still buy it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is that it has the Nintendo brand to it. It's not just a random machine that emulates games. It is a Nintendo machine.
Sure.
Right, exactly. And dude, I see it in the collecting groups I'm a part of all the time. It's like, oh, well, why don't you guys just build a Raspberry Pi and get the element? Like, dude, we know. All right. It doesn't say Nintendo on it, does it?
Well, and the trouble is too that Nintendo is trying to strike down ROMs online.
Yeah, they're getting big on that now
games.
too. So if you don't have them now, good luck, because there have been a few cease and desist issued, as I'm hearing, that they want all those games, all those ROM sites to get rid of those games.
And if Nintendo's successful, like this $80 machine may be the only way that you'll be able to play these games anymore, unless you
buy the cartridge,
own the cart and an original SNES.
That sucks. We should probably, we should have done this a while ago, but we should go down the list of games.
Yes, let's get down to the meat of it. So
go ahead, Robert. Colin, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, so SNES Classic, the console has 21 games built into it. Well, as they advertise it on the box, 20 plus 1. But so anyway, here's the list. So for starters, we have Contra 3, The Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, Star Fox 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, not just Street Fighter 2. Yeah, of course, it couldn't just be Street Fighter 2. Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and Yoshi's Island. Very, very, very solid lineup of games.
Well, you kind of glossed over it, but Star Fox 2 is a momentous thing.
So Star Fox 2
was never released.
Right. And that's the biggest thing.
This is the actual official this is that actual official launch of Star Fox 2 in North America and all over the world, because they developed it. Rumor has it that it was actually complete, but they never released it publicly way back in the early 90s. So this is your chance to play it now. I mean, you've had chances. I mean, that there have been ways, to play Star Fox 2.
This is your official way.
This is your legal
to be able
way
to play that game. Yeah. I don't know. When I look at this list, I think it's a pretty good list. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be hard to show someone this list.
They have a lot of the essentials.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It'll be hard to show someone this list, and someone will be like, meh. They're going to get excited about at least one thing.
Right.
Oh, easily. I mean, you have, all told, you have probably, 400 or 500 hours a game here?
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
And,
I mean, because they've got the big JRPGs, like, Earthbound, Final Fantasy. That could last you hours.
Right.
You got Legend of Zelda as well, Link to the Past.
Oh, I don't know how many people know this. It's also worth noting that Final Fantasy 3 is actually Final Fantasy 6 as we know it.
Right.
Right.
I am, and that brings up, kind of a glaring omission here for me. Like, I wish that Final Fantasy 2 was in here as well, which is Final Fantasy 4 in the series.
Right.
But I was kind of surprised that they would put 3 in there and not 2.
I mean,
because that game is so classic. The music, the story. I mean, it's so iconic.
Just wait until they put the soft mod out for this, and you'll be able to slap it on there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, people have already modded the NES Classic where you can play all these games and more. You can play Genesis games on that if you...
Right, exactly. I mean, I modded my NES Classic and threw an extra 30 games on there.
Yeah, hey.
Nice.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also surprised that we're not seeing any Chrono Trigger here, because that's like a beloved game.
Yeah, that's the biggest one, right? So, because you're going to pay, like, I don't know, $200 for Loose Car 300 Complete.
ActRaiser is another huge one that I think is missing there. I also think that Pilot Wings, where's that?
Yeah.
Surprised to see
Pilot
that
Wings,
gone.
okay.
I was really surprised. I mean, they are selling that game. That game is available on Wii U and Wii, and I'd assume it will come to Switch. Pilot Wings is one of those Nintendo staples. So, hey.
See, part of me wonders too, right, is that like Virtual Console's been a thing for the past 2 or 3 Nintendo consoles, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when the Virtual Console comes to Switch, how many of these games are going to, you know, be ported to it, right? So it kind of creates this idea of like, is it worth buying this SNES Classic aside from the like the nostalgia factor of like owning this physical piece of hardware? Like, why not just wait a couple of months and maybe buy this game for the Virtual Console? Like, if you don't want to play all of them,
you might not have a choice, right? I mean, this is going to be hard to find. This is going to be this is my favorite console of all time. So there's probably there's probably 4 of my top 10 video games of all time in this list, with The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Super Mario Kart. You know, those are up there for me on my all-time list. Like, this is going to be so in demand. There's going to be riots. There's going to be fights. There will be Walmart fights over these consoles.
It'll be the end of the world.
Rest assured, yeah. So, you know, I really I hate this, but I just have zero confidence I'm going to be able to get one.
There's only
0.
Yeah, there's only one specific way I think I might be able to get one, and that's through my game store back home. But we'll see. They'll have to freaking back alley it to me more than likely if it does happen.
Good luck, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like that's the part of the reason I'm not as excited about this, because it's like a really cool idea. And, you know, this would be great if there was not going to be a supply issue. But we all know Nintendo, and we all know there's going to be a supply issue. So it's hard for me to get excited about something that I'm less than 2% of a chance that I'm going to be able to own.
And why are they constricting time? Is it for the inevitable N64 Classic that's going to follow? You know?
And then the GameCube Classic a couple years later.
But see, my worry with if they decided to do an N64 Classic, would that cost them more to produce? Like, would it take much like noticeably more powerful hardware to do something like an N64?
Kind of what I hate about Nintendo's pricing on the Virtual Console is they just price by platform. They don't price by any other way, right? The classic Nintendo games are cheapest. Then SNES are all $2 more with a few exceptions, and then N64 are all $2 or $3 more than the SNES games. They just go by platform. Right. So by that rationale and their history, definitely the N64 Classic that, you know, we're speculating on being released would definitely approach $100 plus. Yeah, for those nasty muddy polys. Bleh. No thanks.
Yeah.
So looking at this list of games, though, like, Jack, you've already touched on which ones that you're like really, really excited about, like the ones that you're super, super interested in. Collin, are there any on this list that you're like which one of these games are like the system seller for you if you could easily?
Yeah, what's your killer app?
God, dude, honestly, like almost this whole freaking list are all games I really want to play. Like,
that's a cop out.
Yeah, it's a cop out. If to narrow it down,
there's some terrible games on this list.
No. Yeah, there's not like I'm not really too big on Kirby for sure. I definitely want to play F-Zero. I think the biggest ones for me is Earthbound and Final Fantasy 3, because I've never actually played through Final Fantasy 3, aka 6.
Oh my gosh!
And Earthbound, I've never actually had the chance to play. I played the original Earthbound. Well, this is Mother 2 technically. The original. I played the original Earthbound for the NES, which was a fan translation, but I have it on my NES Classic, and it's pretty neat.
Let me ask you real quick, Robert. Have you played either Earthbound or Final Fantasy 3?
I have played a little bit of Earthbound, and I have seen video of Final Fantasy 3/6, and I do like Final Fantasy 6 is like a game on my list of games to play.
Yeah, it's like on your list of pile of shame, basically. Right. So this is what I propose. I'm just going to bounce this off you guys, but maybe we should all like play it and then like have a, you know, like talk about it on the podcast, like kind of chronologically.
I would not,
because we couldn't do that in a week, but maybe we should like have like a playthrough where we pick one of those games and then like come back every week and talk about, you know, what happened that week.
We just talked about how it'd be impossible for us to get a SNES Classic.
Oh, there are other ways.
Yeah.
I didn't mean wait till this thing comes out.
Right.
But I mean, both those games are available on the not Switch, but they're available on the Wii, the Wii U, the There's ways. There are ways.
Yeah,
It's also it's worth noting that the SNES version of Final Fantasy 3 is probably the best version to play it, or the best way to play it, because I think all the future versions of it, there was help me out, Jack. There was the GBA version. And
well, they just changed the graphical style, so I can definitely talk about Final Fantasy 3. This is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, so
and
it's
probably my favorite Final Fantasy game.
There was the GBA version, but it had the messed up music, and then there was the Steam version, which they changed the pixel art or whatever, and it looks like a cheap Flash game. And it doesn't look good.
They ported the iOS versions to Steam.
That's what it was.
Not preferred. It looks really gross. I wanted to buy it so bad, and I just could not bear to look at that for 50-60 hours that game takes. That game is so awesome in so many ways. I don't want to spoil it if you guys haven't played, but man, it is easily my favorite Final Fantasy game probably of all time. Better than 7 in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of people that's the 2 is like it's always 7 or 6 or sometimes 9. A lot of people like 9.
Yeah, 9 gets a lot of love. I think maybe we should do that with one of those 2 games, because I think Earthbound is a cult classic. I mean, there's a reason why it costs you hundreds of dollars to get the loose cart.
Yeah, Earthbound is technically Mother 2, right? Is that right?
Don't even go there. It's so complicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this game, I think like Mega Man X, I'm kind of like pretty hype about.
Hell yeah.
I love the Mega Man, like the OG
too.
Mega Man X series. It's really, really good.
Yes.
And to be able to play it again, like through a SNES Classic, would be really, really cool, I think.
Riding on cars in HD.
Yeah. And of course, Star Fox 2, playing that would be like, I think that'd just be something cool to do. Like, even if you're not a Star Fox fan, it's the idea that a previously unreleased game, officially unreleased game, is being released now through this system.
Oh, dude! Last night on Twitter, I saw that the original developers of Star Fox 2 had a launch party in Japan just last night. I thought that was really cool.
What? That's amazing.
Cool.
Dude, I'm actually pretty stoked to see it. Like, I don't know, I have no idea what Star Fox 2 even looks like, to be honest.
It looks like Star Fox 1.
Okay, fair enough. I'm actually very, very excited that they put Super Mario RPG on here, though, because I've heard amazing things about that too, and so I really want to play that.
It kicked off the whole Mario kind of
Mario
and Luigi kind of series. Yeah, Bowser's Inside Story. It's kind of all in the same lineage. One thing, I kind of ruined that game. I kind of broke it. I did beat it in about 6 days, which is really fast for me for a 40-hour RPG. But again, I was like in middle school or high school when it came out, so I had the time. And I didn't have any other games. But I broke it because I found a way to level up like ultra fast. And so I just like leveled up to level 99 and just like cruised through the second half of the game. So,
nice.
Yeah, I was there for the story, man.
Hey, so Jack, can I ask you a question?
You can try.
Because you're a fan of Street Fighter, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So here's what I see: Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting on this list. I mean, the thing is, when I look at that, I think Street Fighter 2 has probably been re-released more than they've released Street Fighter games, like core Street Fighter games.
Yes.
Like, I mean, just recently they released a Street Fighter 2 for the Switch. I don't remember the
Street Fighter
like
2
the HD remix.
Yeah.
Right. So when I look at that, like I feel like that may be one of the weakest games on the list, only because game has been like released and re-released a lot.
That is the best Super Nintendo fighting experience you can have.
Oh, dude, how could we forget about Killer Instinct?
Not the best.
No,
experience,
but
you
it's
can
Killer
have.
Instinct.
I mean, hey, there's licensing issues. They would have to deal with Rare, which I guess they did deal with Rare to get Donkey Kong Country, but who knows?
Right,
but I don't think.
Yeah, Rare's all up.
I'm not a big
Microsoft
Killer Instinct fan. I'm not a big old school Killer Instinct fan, or even new school. I mean, I respect it, but yeah, to answer your question, Robert, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. A lot of people have asked, well, why not the latest Street Fighter game? Why not Super Street Fighter? And the answer is that more people played Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. It was just more popular. It just played exceptionally well, had good sound, which for some reason I think maybe to save space, they compressed the music and the sound and the announcer and everything in Super Street Fighter. So it just kind of has, a few blemishes on it, but there's really nothing but in the Street Fighter community, there's really nothing but love for this version of the game on Super Nintendo. It's just highly celebrated. So I think that is absolutely the correct choice of all the Super Nintendo Street Fighter games, certainly.
Okay. So I'd like check in on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm hype about that one.
Yeah.
I'm hype on that.
Wait, so
Okay.
I haven't really looked, but is the SNES controllers that are coming with the SNES Classic, is it going to be like the stuff that or the connector for like the bottom of the Wiimote, just like the NES Classic was?
So yes, you're gonna be able to play with like the Pro controller, the Wii Pro controller,
Right.
and the Classic controller. You will be able to plug those into the system just like the NES Classic.
Okay.
Yeah. If you so desire.
Oh yeah, that definitely, like, I'm excited about Mega Man X and Super Metroid for sure. Like, I've never played Super Metroid before, and everyone says it's like one of the godfathers of gaming essentially. And Super Castlevania 4, everyone touts that, like, other than Symphony of the Night, everyone touts that as like one of the best ones. So
Super Ghouls and Ghosts is so bad.
Is it?
It's so
I've never
bad.
heard of it.
It's like
To be honest.
you might like this one.
It's one of the hardest games ever made.
I was gonna say it's basically a broken experience. Like you might like this when I give it this comparison, but I do not mean this as a compliment. But it's basically like the Dark Souls of its day, meaning it's just massively impossibly hard. And I think you have to beat it twice to actually get the ending. Like on three lives, if I'm not mistaken. It's so garbage. You will not enjoy that experience. I don't get that series why people like that game. I just can't wrap my head around it. Have you played it, Colin?
I've played a little bit of the original. I've watched quite a few videos about both. And yeah, I think it is Super Ghouls and Ghosts where you play all the way through the game and you're like, oh, by the way, you were dreaming. Now you got to do the whole game over again.
Yeah, such a total load of crap.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a wasted slot. I wish there were 30 games on here. Did we already talk about games that we would like to see on here?
I mean, we mentioned
a
them.
few.
Chrono
Okay.
Trigger is the
I
biggest
mean-
one, obviously, but
Yeah, I mean, guys, Super Nintendo, I don't even know where to begin. Uniracers would have been awesome. I think they actually had and Uniracers, by the way, I might have told you guys in the past, is secretly the best Sonic the Hedgehog video game ever made. And it's on Super Nintendo. All right. I think they might have had some licensing issues with music. I'm not sure, but there's a reason why Nintendo doesn't bring out Uniracers again. It's such an awesome game, though. Let me think here. Pocky and Rocky 2. Another kind of a mission here. Legend of the Mystical Ninja. Really surprised to not see that game on here. That game's awesome. I think that one is in the Japanese version. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's worth noting that depending on where your home country is, it affects what games appear on here. So
right. I don't know what the
look into that.
Japanese lineup looks like.
It's out there somewhere. I know Legend of Mystical Ninja is one of the big ones that is not included in North America. But this is one of those things that is just such a nice to have, and it's kind of like a status to have this thing. But again, for enterprising young PC owners, this is not a crucial piece of kit, right? There are ways. I'll just say that there are ways to experience all these games right now for a little less money than $80. We'll put it that way.
I think one of the other ones I was sort of hoping for was Illusion of Gaia. I know it's kind of like out there, but
when I bought that game, I bought it in a Kmart, and it came in a big plastic, like one of those really hard to cut open plastic containers with its own Illusion of Gaia t-shirt. So I got a free shirt with my
sweet.
SNES game.
Please tell me
it
you
was
still have
awesome.
it.
That's cool.
And so, no, I don't have the shirt anymore. It's super old, dude. But I convinced myself, because it came with a t-shirt, that it was a good game. And so I played it recently. And back then, by the way, like I had to like GameStop didn't exist, but video game stores kind of did you dirty, like they still do, where they'll give you like $5 for 15 games. And so back then, I was in this really unfortunate death spiral of playing games, and then when I wanted a brand new game, they were so expensive. $60 was a lot of money back then to an adult, let alone a middle schooler or elementary school kid. So I would have to trade in all my video games to get one new game. And so I got the Illusion of Gaia. I remember that as the only game I had. I was like, oh, it comes with a t-shirt. This has got to be awesome. And I played the crap out of it. Okay. I recently went back to it, I would say in the last 10 months or so. Not that good. Not that good anymore.
Okay.
But was the t-shirt good?
The t-shirt was solid. T-shirt 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Okay.
See, 'cause I've never actually played it myself, but I mean, some of the retro gamers that I watch say it's damn good. So
here's what I don't like. Here's what I didn't realize back then with my young developing brain, and I realize now, is that the first hour or two are just so incredibly linear that it's just not the style that I tend to gravitate towards. One of the problems you could argue that I do have with Persona 5, at least the first 10 hours, is just the linearity of it. I just feel like I'm being kind of led down this chain. Granted, it does open up, but you're always a slave to time in that game. You are always like, the main drive of that game is what do I do with my limited time, right? Which is why I really like kind of games like Zelda, kind of games like Grand Theft Auto, where you can do what you want when you want. I kind of appreciate that. So that was the problem I had with Illusion of Gaia's first few hours, is that I felt kind of led by a leash a little bit too much. But I think the graphics are beautiful. Music is good. I just don't think it holds up to like the greatest RPGs of that generation.
Okay, fair enough. I think there was another RPG I had in mind and it completely escaped me.
Brandish.
I don't know.
There's so many good Super Nintendo games.
Maybe it'll
Breath
come
of
back
Fire.
to me. Breath of Fire. Yes, that is another big one. Breath of Fire and Breath of Fire 2.
Yeah. Oh, guys, if we want to talk Super Nintendo, we need to have a Super Nintendo like retrospective episode one day.
I will say,
goodness, I can go all day.
I've never played the
SNES
original
cast.
Breath. I know they remade them for the GBA, but I've never played the original 2. I've only played Breath of Fire 3 and a little bit of 4.
There's a shooter called Axlay by Konami, one of the best examples of Mode 7 back when that was a thing.
Mode 7.
Yeah, you got
Parallax scrolling, son.
Blackthorn was another one. Cybernator, Demon's Crest. Evo, Search for Eden. Man, I could go on, guys. Let me see here.
I'm kind of scared you will go on for just the next. Just listing all these games you want.
Knights of the Round, Mega Man X2 and 3. Metal Warriors is like a $500 game now if you want that part. Musia, Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. I guess that's kind of cheating because that's 3 games in one. Rock and Roll Racing.
What was the other big, like, there's another pretty decent RPG on here that I'm forgetting about, I feel like.
Dude, Shadowrun, the SNES version of Shadowrun is so sweet.
Of course.
Skyblazer, Robotech.
There's a Robotech video game?
Yes, dude. Or Robotrek. I might be saying
I
this
thought you meant Robotech is in the anime.
No, yeah, sorry, it's not based on anime. Let me see here. Sunset Riders, Super Adventure Island. Man, the list goes on. Like I said, I could talk. True Lies. Have you ever seen that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, True Lies?
No.
Pretty good James Cameron movie. Even better Super Nintendo game. Very surprised to say. UN Squadron, Wild Guns, which wasn't that recently released on PS4?
Yes, it was on PS4, and I heard UN Squadron was actually a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it's based on the arcade game. Yeah, so I'll stop there. But man, Twisted Tales of Spike and Fang. Oh man, Turtles in Time. One of the greatest Ninja Turtle games ever.
Oh shit!
That could have been obviously licensing issues. Have prevented a lot of games, but I was surprised. There are a couple surprises on here for me, like Secret of Evermore. Or I'm sorry, not Secret of Evermore. Secret of Mana, however you want to say it.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have been like,
that's cool.
That's guaranteed to be. Like I definitely would have been like, oh yeah, that's so going to be on there. I mean, it definitely would have been a wish list game for sure for me.
There's a mode in that game for 3 players. I don't know how they would do that. I don't know how they would do that with 2 control slots. So who knows? I don't know if they'll be able to include that.
Dude, they're going to get a multi-tab. Wait,
good.
What? Yep. Dude, now that you guys know what a multi-tap is?
No, yeah, it just kind of stopped there. Like, all right.
Yep. It was just that was the end of that thought.
Yeah, that might be the end of that segment now.
All right, but all right, yeah, I think we're good to move on.
No, we've talked about this a good long while, and we can talk about Super Nintendo another day for sure. But I'm super hype on it. But it just brings sadness to me because I just feel like I'm never going to get it.
Yeah, you probably won't. No offense, it just seems like no one's gonna get it. No one is gonna get it either.
I'll find a way.
No.
I'll find a way.
So it just makes me angry at Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, or just set aside $700 now. Go to ebay.co.uk and look it up there.
Guys, there are going to be people that pay more for this than an Xbox One X.
Yep,
and will gladly hand over the money for this, which is just so insane.
Yeah, and then they can play these games in 4K.
Oh man, too many Ks for that.
Good old 4K.
Yeah.
So let's move on to some more news. It's just a quick update from what we talked about last week. How Take-Two issued a cease and desist to that one mod tool for Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5. They've actually backed off that. both Take-Two and Rockstar, the developer of Grand Theft Auto, have decided that they're going to instead try to screen mods individually to allow single-player mods to go through, but still try to keep online mods, to not be a thing. So that way online will still be balanced.
That seems like a cool job to have. Just sit down and check out all the crazy mods, all the illegal mods, and just, give the stamp or give the boot.
Yeah. I think part of this is probably, it was done because a lot of people took offense, or, they went up in arms about this, and they gave Grand Theft Auto 5 a ton of negative reviews on Steam, which made the game look awful, right? Because Steam now has that thing on the interface where you're like, there's overall reviews and then recent reviews. Recent was all negative, and I think overall wasn't overwhelmingly positive anymore. So it did affect the review score of the game. Granted, I don't think it would have changed the sales that much, because it's a game that still sells a lot, after it's like 4 years of being out,
right?
But still, it doesn't look good, right? And I think the PR people were like, we need to fix this. And this is their solution, to have a more hands-on approach to this mod instead of like a blanket statement about mods in general.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of really glad that they've taken this approach. I think it's more work on their part for sure. But I think it's something that that really speaks to them, like caring about the fans rather than just caring about
the dollar,
their own ends. Yeah, right. Exactly. So yeah, that was just a quick update on a story from last week. But let's move on to the big story this week, the Steam sale. Well, another big story, the Steam sale.
Steam sale is going on. It's a thing.
Steam summer sale. Empty your wallets, take out that 30th mortgage. It's time for the Steam summer sale. It's time for you to spend all your money.
Get every Ease game ever created in the history of man for 10 cents. It's basically the IKEA of PC games. Go in there and just like furnish your whole Steam account for the low price at $8.52.
$8.52 and 0 cents.
And $8.52.
Oh,
yes.
I don't know if you could buy everything on Steam for that one.
But I know, but I'm exaggerating. But seriously, I mean, the thing that really comes to my attention is when I'm like, oh, that's an awesome game. Look, it's only $4. Let's buy it. Oh, wait, I already own it because I bought it already on, like there's very few games I'm buying anymore because I wait till the Steam sales and I swipe them all up for a song.
Yeah, or the alternative is that, hey, it's the Steam sale. Let's buy this, and that. And then you don't play half of those games come next year.
Oh, yeah.
You just completely forget about them, because that's kind of the culture of the Steam sale nowadays, right? It's like this tax that you pay to Steam to not play the games that you buy, but you love the idea of eventually I'll play
one day I'll get to Psychonauts, or one day I'll get to Jade Empire or something like that.
It's sitting on my digital shelf just gathering dust. I'll get to it eventually, I promise.
Gathering some bits and dust,
some bitcoins.
One thing I heard recently, listen to this, guys. One thing I heard recently is that you are able to will your Steam library, and Steam will honor that. If something were to happen, and you had a living will that bequeathed it to someone else, then they would get to enjoy those games. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I mean, it's totally fair too, because think about it, like if you own a digital library of games, like that's hundreds of dollars probably in value, that no one else could access after you pass.
Thousands.
Yeah,
easily. So I mean, I have well over 200 games. I think, Robert, you have over 300 games, and Colin, you got a crap ton of games too. Like, but I mean, so many times I get them on the Humble Bundle, and I always wait. There's always 2 big Steam sales a year, and I usually spend, about the price of maybe 3 or 4 full price games during Steam sale. But again, like I said, I have so many games that I've owned that like really none of the deals this year are really like must buys that I've seen so far. I'm not that hyped.
Yeah, I've been eyeing games like Nier Automata. That only like the deal for that wasn't to my liking. I mean, I was hoping it'd go down a little more in price. Personally,
was it 35% off?
30% off, so it's around like $42-$43.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm sure the game is worth that price, but the point of the Steam sale is you're wanting to get things real cheap.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for that game to maybe get down to like $30 because I know it's a Japanese developer and those games usually don't go down in price as often.
Right. They definitely have reduced the amount, I think, of the discounts. I just feel like years past, 5-6 years ago, discounts were way deeper, and I just feel like now they're much more conservative. It's kind of alarming because for me that was always the draw to PC gaming, was that it's cheaper. and significantly cheaper for the games. Maybe not the hardware, but the games.
Yeah, but I think part of that too might be because like PC gaming is kind of coming into this, like it's becoming a little bit more mainstream. Like think about it, E3 for the past 3 years. It's unfortunate that we've had a PC gaming show in the state it is, but the fact that we have a PC gaming show at all is something like I think that speaks to the power that PC gaming is like building in the gaming community.
# progress PC gamer.
PC gaming is the Sauron of the gaming community. Just gaining power in the background.
So, with the Steam sale, we kind of thought of a way to celebrate it. And we did that by not buying any games.
Yep. The best way to celebrate a sale is to not hand your money over. Instead, what we're doing is we're digging through our libraries of games that we've never played, never booted up, never touched. Like games that we once thought, oh, I'll get to it eventually, and then it's months,
and then we bought it and we paid for it, and it's like the cellophane wrapping is still on it on the shelf. We have literally never booted these games. They've been sitting and getting crusty in our libraries for eternity, basically. And so we decided this week that we will break them out, dust them off, give them a fresh boot and a fresh take on them.
Eventually has come, boys.
Who wants to go first?
Yes.
Collin, you want to go?
I think let's kick it off with Collin.
Okay, we're gonna start off with me, even though I kind of cheated a little bit. But
a lot of you cheated a lot of bit. This is supposed to be in celebration of the Steam sale, so why don't you tell the folks how you celebrate Steam sale?
God. All right, so we started off with Funyuns, then we moved to me not doing,
You're on a roll today, buddy.
I'm on a roll of just fuck ups. It's fine. So yeah, I don't have any games that I necessarily like intentionally bought in my Steam library that I haven't played yet. Nor do I have a particularly powerful enough computer to run any of the other games that I did intentionally buy because I'm in the midst of building my new computer. So I kind of cheated a bit and I went to my PS4 and took a game off the shelf there that I have not booted up yet, but I did intentionally buy this game just because I saw it and it was cheap. So I took it actually off my physical shelf, unlike you guys, plebs, and stuck it in my PlayStation, and that game is... And you may know
the Steam box, right?
Yeah, the Steam box. And that game is a meme game known as Knack.
Oh, yes. Knack. I've heard of that. I heard it's a really good game. It's a beautiful
I didn't hear that at all, Robert.
Knack.
Someone lied to you.
It's game of the year every year.
So Knack, within the realm of my Facebook groups and a couple of podcasts that I listen to, it's become kind of a meme. So like everyone's like, oh, it's just another Knack. All hail our Lord Knack, and blah blah blah. And
no one says that.
Anyway,
just gonna brush over that.
Brush over.
Yep,
dude, you do not fuck with our Lord Knack, all right? Anyway,
I played Knack. All right, go ahead.
Knack is great. Anyway, so basically, Knack recently got a sequel. It was a sequel to a game that no one asked for. But anyway, out of curiosity, I took the disc out of the case, threw it into my PlayStation Pro, and I was like, I'm gonna play this. And by the way, I played it in glorious 4K because I recently got a 4K TV.
Congrats.
Yes.
So is it 4 times better now as a game? Does it feel 4 times
watching
funner?
them like, those really kind of muddy PS4 launch textures in 4K. They're okay. But anyway,
does it not translate really well?
No, it's not bad. It's really not bad, honestly. And I'll get to it here in a second. So basically, Knack in a nutshell. I when I first booted it up, I'm like, okay, this is like, it's giving me kind of like some Ratchet and Clank vibes, even though like it came out before the new Ratchet and Clank, right? It was kind of like art style wise, it's kind of giving me that vibe, like the poor man's Pixar movie kind of thing. And so I was like, I don't know what's inherently wrong with this. The story seems to be starting off decently strong, and then I played it, and the gameplay, like they tell you how to play, and it just doesn't go anywhere from there. Like you just keep mashing the same buttons,
it's just
killing
basic
the
jump and
enemies
punch
in the same fashion.
I think there's like jump, punch, and dodge, and I can't remember much beyond that.
Yeah,
transform
so
maybe.
There's no upgrades. There's no upgrades to the systems or anything.
Like the level progresses, you pick up relics, which basically makes the little Knack dude bigger, and he like eventually gets bigger throughout the level, and you become more powerful, and it also extends your health bar.
Right, like the more pieces of Toblerone you collect, the more hulky he becomes. Dude,
exactly, Toblerone. That's totally what I'm calling it now. But like, yeah, so it makes you more powerful. Well, the thing with that is, it's like, it's not one of those things where it's sequenced. It's like scripted almost. So it's weird. So you're like small for this one section of the game, and then you get kind of bigger when the game wants you to. Like you can pick up bits and you get a little bit bigger, but you're not going to get noticeably bigger until the game wants you to. So you go to like certain scripted events, like, oh, okay, now I'm really big. Now I'm like thrashing everything. And
because the level design is based around Knack's form.
Exactly. And so like you get to these points where like, oh, hey, like we need to power this generator with relics. And Knack's like, oh, hey, I got this. Just going to like shoot all those relics that I picked up into this generator. Now I'm small again. Now you get to start all over. Now you have like this tiny ass health bar.
You're baby Groot at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, oh, this doesn't, I don't know. This does not seem like good design to me at all.
I thought you were liking this game.
Sarcasm.
Oh, okay.
So no, but like I wanted to give it a little bit of the benefit of the doubt when I was going in. And
yeah, I can't imagine that you had too much fun with it though.
No,
hey, just to defend, I mean, I'm not a big ardent Knack supporter, but someone liked it. There's a sequel coming out. It's crazy.
I mean, to be fair, like it was a launch title, and honestly, as a launch title, it's a pretty okay launch title. It's a nice at the time, it's a nice tech demo.
Yeah, you might be guilty of launch goggles there, having not having many games to compare it to. I remember, I mean, I played it early on a couple years back. I remember it looking okay. It didn't look that bad, but it just seemed very limited. And one thing too of note with Knack is that it looks like a kid's game, and it was designed with Mark Cerny, who I think was directly involved in this game.
Right, it's
and
developed by Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Yeah, with the kind of mentality of I want to recreate that magic of PS1 era games. So that's kind of the flavor and the feel and the tone they were going for with this. And it looks like it would be like a kid-friendly type game, but man, for one, the game is balls hard. It's a very hard game.
It's hard.
Not easy.
I was going to say that because you die a metric fuck ton. You really do. You die a lot, man. You die a lot in this game.
Easily you die. Like 2 hits, you're dead.
Dude, I died, I only played the game for 2 or 3 hours. But like I died, dude, if I had to give you a rough number, it would probably be about 30, 40 times.
Yeah, it's like a Call of Duty death match, basically.
Dude, like it was ridiculous. Like you're like running in and because the thing is and this is where like, and if you want to kind of get in depth in the game design a little bit too, but it has one of those things where it's like the enemies do something like you completely don't expect. Like the enemies don't really, how would you say that? Like give you a hint as to how they're going to attack you. Like
they don't telegraph their moves very well. Is that what you're saying?
That's where I was looking for. Thank you. So they don't telegraph their moves very well. So like you kill like these, for example, like these beetle things. You hit them and you knock them over. Then they explode and then you're dead. Like
it's a rough game. It is a rough time. You cannot.
Yeah, it just gives you a middle finger. Or like I was walking over this pit and then like, oh, the pit just drops from underneath you. I'm like, oh. Okay.
It's rough. It's rough design.
Yeah. So final verdict, you don't like it.
So it's not a terrible game. I think how I would describe it is fantastically mediocre. Like it's just mediocre at best, if anything. It's so bland. It's not really much to enjoy there. Like I thought the story kind of started out somewhat interesting, and they give you like little tidbits that seem okay. Jack, did you say you beat it?
Hell no.
Oh, you didn't beat it? Okay.
No, I played about 3-4 hours, and I was like, that's enough. That's enough.
It's like I was definitely like at some point I was like, this game is getting boring.
Yeah,
like,
it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, and I think and just one more thing too is like the visual style. It's going for like the faux Pixar thing, right? But it's like not quite there, and it's just not very like eye-poppingly colorful either. And it's just like I don't know, the visual style just something about it just seems off to me. But yeah, fantastically mediocre. That's my verdict on Knack. It's available, but if you still want to play it, it's available on the PSN sale right now for $6.99. If you have PS Plus, you can get it for $4.99.
It sounds like two very enthusiastic thumbs sideways.
Yeah. If you're looking for that fantastically mediocre experience,
right. It's like,
where to get it.
Yeah, it's okay.
So,
it was worth the whatever money I paid for it. So
let me ask you: are you guys PlayStation Plus subscribers?
Not at the moment.
Nope.
Okay, so I don't know if this happened, but I just remember past that this was one of the games that people were just decrying needed to be free on PlayStation Plus. How they give away those free games every month, if you're aware. And like as I understand, Knack is always one of the games people are like, we want Knack for free, but
But why?
Yeah, who knows? It's just crazy.
Why?
Yeah,
It
I
might
don't
have
know.
already happened, to be honest with you, because I haven't paid for PlayStation Plus in a very long time.
Same. So Jack, what about you? What did you dig up in your Steam library
yes.
for your personal computer on Windows
for
10?
that Steam sale celebration that only happens twice a year?
We're just giving Collin some shit.
All right.
So
yeah, actually,
so what did you play?
This game is on Steam, but it is, notable that it is also available on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And that game is Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. It was released initially on October 5th, 2010. Right now, you can get it on Steam. It's only $4.99, and it is about an 8 to 10 hour game. In my opinion, as a grown-ass man gamer, the perfect length. It's not too long. I can still, come home from work and enjoy it and finish it in relatively good time and feel like I got my money's worth. So, yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic single-player action-adventure game. It has movie footage, motion capture footage that Weta Workshop worked on, which was the same studio that worked on Heavenly Sword on PlayStation 3, as well as the Lord of the Rings movies and all the special effects there. In fact, Andy Serkis plays a critical role as well, one of the main characters, and everything he does in cinema is so awesome. I think he's one of my favorite actors, whether it's him in real life or it's him in a mocap suit with all the reflective balls sticking on him.
Dude, he's gone forever and always.
Yeah, he's such a great actor. So that's really all I had to hear to pique my interest. And I bought this game so long ago, and I, again, just never booted it, never installed it, never downloaded it. I'm just, man, I really got to get to this game. And I don't really have too much to say on it. I am going to keep playing it, but I've only played about the first hour. But as I understand, you guys have... And that first hour was good, and it drew me in, and the acting was it's very prevalent. That is high quality, and it is what you expect from a movie, not just a video game. You kind of draw that ire of video game acting being somehow mediocre, but I think that the medium is catching up, certainly to Hollywood levels, especially with a Weta Workshop working with them now. So can you guys talk about the game a little bit? I know you guys have some previous experience on it.
Yeah, so I actually beat that game maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, don't spoil me. Don't spoil me.
Yeah, don't worry. Snape just kills Dumbledore. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So it didn't I don't want this to detract you from wanting to beat the game, because I can't say that it's left such a lasting impression that I remember it 3 or 4 years later. But I do remember at the time, really enjoying the game and finding the ending to be very satisfying. For those of you who don't know, it's based on the old Chinese story of Odyssey to the West, The Journey to the West, which features Sun Wukong as the main character. And funnily enough, the main character in the game is called Monkey, which, that's what Sun Wukong was. He was the Monkey King. So I remember the game being really fun to play. It's kind of a character action. Well, not character action, but, it's your brawler beat 'em up kind of game, if I'm not mistaken, right, Jack?
Yeah. It's exactly. It's like a beat 'em up sort of thing.
Yeah, and I remember the character interactions being very good, because you have the main character Monkey, and then you have that female companion, and they kind of, their relationship is very interesting, and it's nice to see how it progresses throughout the story, which I remember being a very strong part of the game as well. And I think at $4.99, it's definitely worth playing if you have a couple afternoons free and you're thinking let's just pop in a really good game that has a nice story.
And
I think Odyssey Journey to the West fits that very well.
And the PC version is the best version to get. It runs so well, very smooth, very easy to run game now. It's developed on consoles that are over 10 years old at this point. It can run on almost, laptops too. I would assume could probably run it as well. Graphics look great, music's great, production level. It's one of those B-tier games, right, of that generation. It wasn't AAA, but they put a lot of effort into it. The production is there. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Remember Me, where, just kind of B-tier, it's not AAA, it's not indie, it's in this weird gray area, and it's maybe not worth $60, but it is worth playing through at least once.
Yeah, and at $4.99, I think that's
come on, guys.
Not that much to ask.
That's like a double chalupa or whatever that thing is now at Taco Bell. Come on, let's go.
A double chalupa.
Although that does sound pretty good now that I think about it.
that double deep chalupa. Have you seen that? It's
yeah, I have.
Oh, good Lord. All the beef.
Deep chalupa.
I don't think that's the official name, but that's just how I think of it. So yeah, but I don't have much to say. You know, I might come back to it and we can talk about it in the future. I want to see how it ends because, as Collin, you were saying that the ending is, you know, of note. Without spoiling it, you were saying that it is kind of memorable. It was on some list or something. I think you were talking about.
Yeah. Like it's got a pretty crazy ending. If I recall, it kind of had a spoil for me, but I don't remember exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for me, what I dug through with my extensive library of games I haven't played, I decided to play this game called Skullgirls. Have you guys heard of this?
Yes.
Yes, I'm somewhat familiar from a peripheral view.
Yeah, so it's a fighting game, but all the characters are like anime girls with big boobs. The reason I bought it is because I've heard it's actually a great it's a great tutorial for fighting games. Like it teaches you a lot about like some really, you know, high-end concepts in fighting games, like hit confirming and punishing, you know, how to block things and, you know, invincibility frames, things like that. Like it's a good tutorial for fighting games.
So come for the boobs, stay for the fighting, right? Got it.
Sure.
Robert, you know, for someone that's not so into fighting games, you sure are playing them a lot these days.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, so it started with Tekken 7, pretty sure. And after playing that, I remember I was looking through my library and I saw Skullgirls and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that game for being the game that like teaches you a lot about fighting. So let's pop that in so I can like improve my Tekken game. But I actually kind of am enjoying the way Skullgirls plays because with Skullgirls, it's a small roster. You know, it's a very cheap game. Right now, you can get it for $2.99 on the Steam sale, and that's until next Wednesday. So you got a lot of time. And it's a very small roster. I think it's like 8 characters and then 5 DLC characters.
Are they all female? Oh, it's Skullgirls, I guess, is in the name, right?
Yeah, I think there's like 1 or 2 male characters, but they're like DLC. For a majority of the characters are female.
Okay,
and they're all like interesting and weird. Like there's a character named Parasol who's like a girl that uses an umbrella to fight, but also a gun. Or
a gunbrella. A gunbrella.
Yeah. I'm forgetting the name of this character, but this character is literally straight out of like Cuphead style or like, you know, DuckTales style of like old school Mickey Mouse even kind of a style with her fighting, which is really interesting. But what they do is they kind of simplify fighting a little bit because, you know, like both of you played fighting games in your time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So when you're playing that game, it's like you can try to learn combos for one character, but that doesn't necessarily translate to another character or really even possibly any of the characters on that roster, right? Or even if you try to pull off like special moves, like if you try to use Ryu's Hadouken, you know, that same input may not necessarily do anything else with any other character, right? Like you have to really learn each character to learn how to use their abilities. Whereas with Skullgirls, it's the same input to do their special abilities. So they have like light, medium, and heavy punch, light, medium, heavy kick. And then you do like a quarter circle, either forward or backwards with the stick and you pair that with one of the like punch or kick buttons to do a special move. And it's that same input for everyone. So it kind of takes out that problem of needing to like learn each character in the roster in terms of like your raw input. And instead what you need to learn is if I do this input, what does the output become? So then it feels like it's a little easier to learn how each character plays. And it kind of helps you build that idea of building a game, you know, your game plan with each character, which I think when you've got that solidified, it'll be easy to translate that to like, you know, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, where the inputs may not be the same, but you start kind of feeling that same idea of, okay, like I'm playing Scorpion, I've got this game plan where, you know, I know how to like throw my get over here and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think if you're trying to like get into fighting games, Skullgirls, if you can get over the like aesthetic.
I don't think it's for everybody. I don't know if I could recommend.
Yeah, the aesthetic isn't for everybody, but I do think if you want to learn learn how to play fighting games, it has a really, really good tutorial. And for $2.99, I think it's worth it.
And I think it was at Evo too. I think it's made appearances at Evo.
Oh, it's an Evo.
So
game.
and it has a very vocal fan base online. You know, this is like a cult classic. So, you know, that's kind of the extent that I know of it, aside from what you have said as well. But it's one of those games that are always going to be like in my pile of shame. I just feel like I'll never get to it. Sadly. Sally. But that's kind of the spirit of what we're doing now, right? We're purposely finding games that we don't think we could play or would play, at least for an incredibly long time, decades maybe even. We're trying to force ourselves to play games that we end up liking.
Yep. And I think that's all I really have to say about Skullgirls. It's good fighting game tutorial, some pretty solid fighting game itself if you want to stick around for that, but it'll definitely improve your fighting game prowess, I think, across whatever fighting game you want to play.
That's a great word. That's one of my favorite words.
Prowess?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's talk about favorite words for a second. Okay, so prowess is up there for me. Another favorite word, Cessna.
Excuse me?
Cessna. It's like a type of airplane.
Oh.
Single engine airplane. Cessna. It's just fun. And then another classic that I really like, Wildebeest. Fun fact, Wildebeest is the beast part is spelled B-E-E, not B-E-A.
Yep, very true.
Wildebeest. So do you guys have any favorite words?
I very much enjoy indubitably.
It's the D and B,
yes,
very powerful.
Indubitably.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm a fan of a discombobulate.
Yes.
It's such a funny word.
Let me ask you this. When we're talking about good words, let's talk about bad words. Like, what about, like, irregardless? Irregardless, I hate when people say irregardless.
Here's the thing. You have said irregardless earlier, Jack.
Ironically.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm positive. I hate that word. I hate irregardless.
It means absolutely nothing, right?
I hate it. Yeah, I hate when people say it. And when I had an English teacher in college, by the way, that like ardently defended irregardless, would say irregardless. It's absolutely telling the truth. I'm not going to say what college it was, but you could probably make an educated guess. But I had an English teacher, right, advanced English, that would say irregardless in probably every paragraph of speech.
That's annoying.
She would say. It was completely annoying. And people would raise their hand and be like, that's not a word. And she would defend.
I would have got up and walked out.
How are you grading our papers? Yeah,
I'm dropping this class as soon as I hear that.
She was a super nice lady, to be fair. And we did get to watch Good Will Hunting, like for a whole like 2 classes like together. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but irregardless of that film, it didn't make up for the rest of it. The rest of that class did it.
Salty. Okay, so what are your like? Do you have words you guys hate too?
Not really.
That's it. What, you got to have words that annoy you.
Like what? So one of the most popular like hated words is moist.
Oh yeah.
Yo, this is definitely a thing. People hate that.
Yeah.
And I really don't have that big a problem with it because I just think of like a nice chocolate cake with chocolate icing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
nice
what other
moist.
images that word evokes for people, but I'm just like cake.
Because
that sounds good.
it's the way the word rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, a lot of people hate it.
Now, when you say it like this, oh, so moist, then
There it is.
All right, so we just lost 17 subscribers there.
Yep.
Sorry to see you go.
Dropping like flies. Yeah, nobody wants to hear the word moist, man. That's how you lose
This is
them.
like the turn into an ASMR all of a sudden.
Oh God.
Okay, so let's scoot over to the almost last part of the podcast. Jack, let's put you on the spot here. What's this week's what's the loophole to this would you rather?
Okay, so I have come to a understanding yet contempt of your desire for loopholes and for your penchant for finding them. And so I've come up with certain verbiage I'm going to use here for this special would you rather. And again,
Did you script this out?
No, not really. I just wrote down the basics. But again, the internet has failed me here. I'm looking online for good would you rathers, and I'm finding I'm just making them up in my head, and I just think they foster better conversation. So this is another one that just kind of came to me a couple days ago. So listen carefully. Would you rather never need or be able to sleep again? Or would you rather never need or be able to eat again? Discuss.
Okay, you're gonna hate me because the answer is so easy for me.
Well,
so
I mean,
easy.
you think so? Okay.
I would, to make sure, never need or be able to, right?
That's right.
So, for example, if I didn't need or be able to eat ever again, I would never be hungry. I'd never lack energy. I'd never feel like, man, I need to drink this Red Bull to get back up or something, right? Sure. Starvation's a thing of the past, right?
Yeah.
Sleep, easily.
So you would never need. So you'd rather never need or be able to sleep again, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Same.
that's your answer. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Collin?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too. I don't. If I didn't have to sleep, I wouldn't.
Yeah, 'cause here's the thing. I feel like sleep is such a waste of time. Like, I already hate taking naps. You know, like I try to avoid taking naps because naps feel like such a waste of time. Like, I could be doing literally anything else.
All right. I think you guys are
another
fucking
thing is
crazy. Okay.
No, honestly, I hate the feeling because especially during the school year, I just feel fucking perpetually tired all of the time. Just all of the time.
Right.
And I hate it. Like, I wish sleep was like, I wish I could just feel like I was at least decently awake all the time.
Okay.
And you did, Jack, you did confirm that if we didn't need to eat again, starvation would never happen. The negative consequence of not eating would never happen. So the negative consequence of not sleeping, being tired, would never happen.
Yeah, but you're not thinking of all the other consequences. That's one consequence of many. You know, you're saying you'll never need to be tired again, but again, you'll never feel that joy of sleeping in ever again. And I think you're underrating sleep very highly. Also, think about this. Think about the caloric intake you're going to have to increase, okay, if you are constantly awake 24/7. And then also extrapolate that to how much money it's going to cost you. And so if you don't have the money to support that caloric intake of all the energy you're expensing, then you're going to have to start eating shit food forever. So you're kind of living in a shit food ramen hell for the rest of your life. And again, like, sleep is kind of like, I love sleeping in. One of my favorite things to do is sleep in, and I don't think naps are underrated at all. I wish I could take more naps, actually. And studies have shown that you're mentally sharper, if you take a nap in the middle of the day. So being tired, you'll never be tired again. But again, you'll have all that maintenance and all that extra expenditure. And you're the only one in the world doing this too. Like, everyone else is living a life. People are going to be sleeping. You might run a health risk of having a higher cancer rate. They've shown that for people that work night shifts. So there are other consequences to think about. And most of all, the money issue, I think. So what do you guys think of that?
So yeah, you bring up a good point. Like, the money issue for sure is a real thing to deal with. I think, if you're talking about health concerns, I guess if you put it like, if you want to be super realistic about it, yeah, I don't think, if you never had to sleep, I don't think honestly you would live as long, right? So,
yeah, exactly. I think it would. I think we could all agree that it probably would negatively affect your life expectancy, I think.
Yeah, when you first told us like the topics, I was just kind of assuming that it was kind of like a hyper realistic thing. Like, it was like, oh, hey, you just never had to sleep again. Oh, you can be more productive, and yeah, you have to eat more. I can definitely see that. Like, either way you cut it, the financial thing is going to play a part, even without the health issues, because you're gonna burn more calories. Therefore, you're gonna need more food. You're gonna need more money. And I do understand, like, okay, you can also, like, sleeping is an enjoyable activity. Like, what are you going to do after sex, right?
That was the first thing I thought of.
You just have to stay up the whole time and watch her sleep, dude.
Let's be honest. If you stay up, if you just sit there and stay up, that's weird. Just go downstairs and play with your fucking SNES, okay?
Your SNES Classic.
Just go downstairs and play with your SNES.
By
the way, you want to talk about words I hate, by the way, SNES. Ugh. Anyway,
yeah, there are positives. You'll have more time to play games, I guess, if you think about it that way. But you'll never. Guys, also important things happen biologically during your sleep. That's when your body heals itself, right? That's when you Wolverine, so to speak.
Yeah,
those are the healing hours.
See, but when I think of the cons of the other choice, like, think about it. I will never in my life be able to eat a Thurman's burger again. I will never in my life taste a Wendy's chocolate frosty ever again.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I love food way too much.
I will never.
Are you kidding me?
I will never be able
enjoy
to
food ever again.
Yeah, I would never be able to eat a Funyun and not call it a chip ever again.
Running gag, I called it.
Oh, you'll never be able to celebrate Steam sale by playing fucking Knack ever again.
Yeah.
Look, okay, I deserve every bit of it. Just give it to me. Give it to me.
I'd rather, like, even with all those negative consequences of not sleeping again, I just keep thinking, like, I'd rather still be able to eat, and still be able to taste good food in the world.
Okay,
part of that might be because, like, right. I like to cook too. So right. Like, more than half the joy of cooking is being able to, like, taste your product.
Sure. No, fair enough. Yeah, and I think that if cooking is a big part of your life, like, I can see how that would be more difficult to give up. But man, guys, sleep is so great. I mean, think about it.
Right.
Think about how sad it would be. You'll never get to dream again. You'll literally never get to dream again.
You can daydream. You can imagination
that is not the same. That is
It's
not
not
the
the
same.
same.
I don't know.
But-
I'm a space cadet. If you know, like, if you hang out with me enough, you figure that out. Like,
I've never heard anyone say that about themselves before.
like
I'm a
I'm like,
space
dude, I zone out all the time. I really do.
So you're
I'm
saying
really
you wouldn't
guilty
miss
of it.
dreaming is what you're saying.
Like, honestly, when I dream, I've only had a handful of times where I've had dreams where I'm like, holy shit. Like, that was like a very notable dream or like a nightmare or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and I like, it's to the point where I actually have like not really a dream journal because I don't dream that often, but when I do get like a very, very vibrant dream, I do tend to write them down. Anyway, but I mean, I've never really had anything to where it's like, oh yeah, that was totally worth, losing productivity or what have you, minus the health risks. However, I did actually read about a study a while back saying that it's possible because there's actually a sleep routine where you can actually have the highest possible productivity, the highest amount of awake time while still getting the rest and the basically the biological rehabilitation that your body needs while still maintaining like a high amount of awake time, which so they had these artists, they did like the sleep routine where basically they were awake for 4 hours and then they were sleeping for 30 minutes. And that's how they did it. So they were awake for 4 hours and then slept every 30 minutes. Now, I mean, it would be really difficult to do and it would take probably a very long time to get your body used to it because, like, if you're anything like me, I'd take forever to fall asleep.
You need a better mattress, man.
Yep.
Probably. Because these mattresses are shit. But anyway, so, like, I don't know if I could imagine that, though. Could you imagine being awake? Like, because not only that, but, like, any normal schedule would never allow you to be able to do that. So the only way you would be able to pull off like something like 4 hours off, 3 hours like asleep or whatever, or I'm sorry, 30 minutes of sleep would be if you were like some sort of like freelance artist or something, which is like who they suggested it for. Like being awake for 4 hours and then going to sleep for 30 like for just 30 minutes and then waking up and being productive again. It sounds just how.
I feel like we're getting away though from like the main.
Hold on.
No, and the reason why I brought that up is because I guess it's almost like kind of like a middle ground, right? You can still enjoy sleeping, but you can have the highest amount of productivity, right?
I just love how you said freelance artists. Like, I thought you were going to say like Navy SEAL or something like that needs that sleep schedule. You said freelance artist. Okay.
Yeah, I got
this bush ain't going to paint itself.
Where you're on your own, yeah, exactly. Freaking, yeah, but like for some sort of schedule where you just make your own hours, I guess it would be the only way you could pull it off.
No, I hear you.
Because I mean, yeah.
And to counter your point, Jack, about not being able to dream again.
Please do.
Okay, so I don't need to dream again if I can spend those 8 hours a night helping and working to make my dreams a reality.
Oh, please. Barf in my mouth. Oh gosh. You gonna crochet that tomorrow or something?
Oh yeah.
And hang up on your wall?
Who needs sleep when your dreams can be reality?
Have you ever had those dreams that just affect you all day? I did like 2 days ago. I'm not going to get specific in what happened, but I've had dreams that like I think about all day long, inspire me. I mean, how many incredible ideas and experiences do you have in dreaming? Dreaming is incredible. I very rarely lucid dream. It's only happened to me like maybe 3-4 times in my entire life. But when I do, I'm like, I'm flying over Mount Everest. You know, I'm going to like Saturn and like the universe when I'm like lucid dreaming. I'm like, I feel like omnipotent, you know. It's just it would be sad to never get to dream again, I just think. And I just feel like people that are awake when everyone else is asleep, I just feel like you'd be at risk for depression too, to live like that the rest of your life. I don't have any evidence to back that up. I just have a hunch.
Well, I think part of it is part of the depression may come from maybe that everyone else is sleeping. Why am I not sleeping? Right. Whereas if you never need sleep again, it's like I'm above these plebeians who need sleep. Yeah. I am better than them. I am neo-human sapien.
I hear you on the level of like, man, but I love food because I am the same way. Like I definitely love a great meal. I appreciate a great meal and I will spend money on a great dining experience. Like, you know, I'm not beyond.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Jack. Like, what would you give up? Would you give up a nice barbecue dinner, a la like everything you could buy in Austin, or would you give up dreams?
I don't know. It just brings up a moral quandary, which is like the fun of these would you rather's. But I don't know. I feel like the easy answer would be, I'd never have to eat again because think of all the money you save. Right, there are benefits to that. Like you save thousands of dollars a year. At least I would. Thousands of dollars a year, but again, you're missing out on the joy of eating. You're missing out on all the social aspect of eating, which is not to be understated. A lot of life-changing conversations happen over meals.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to point that out, right? It's like the social factor of eating is far more important than the social factor. Like not many times you get together with your friends, like, hey guys, let's all sleep together. That sounds. Let's all sleep right here.
Cuddle party at Robert's house.
You don't?
Yay!
Whereas
crochet.
It's very common to be like, hey guys, let's go grab a bite to eat down at Wendy's or something, right? Whereas you can't be like, guys, let's all go to a hotel and nap in the same room for an hour. Doesn't that sound like?
Hey guys, you guys all want to go to Wendy's and nap?
You know what though? If I give up sleep though, then I'm ruining hammocks for life. That's just a hard ask, man.
You can still relax in a hammock just because you can't sleep doesn't mean you can't relax.
I'm a man of leisure. I enjoy a hammock every now and again.
You could relax without sleeping, though. You can relax. Maybe have your DS or Switch in your. Your DS in your hands.
You can meditate.
Yeah,
you can meditate.
Man, I don't know. It's a hard question. I don't know what I'd give up. I think there's mad cons for both decisions. I guess. All right, gun to your head, Robert. You have to choose. I think you're saying. Sleep. You would give up sleep. You'd never have to sleep ever again.
Easy. You don't even need a gun.
What if you went into it knowing that it would make your life shorter, though?
Sure.
You still would do it. Okay. Fair enough.
You could have a water gun up to my head. And
Collin, what do you think?
See, I would still give up sleep. Because the thing is, like, whether this has to do with like me being a hopeless romantic or whatever, but like I don't know, something about the night hours, man. I like being up at night. I'm kind of a night owl, and the thing about that time at about 2, 3, 4 in the morning, no one expects anything out of you, and it's the greatest.
Okay, True. That sounds a little frightening.
You got your own time, but listen, guys. I mean, black and white here. One is a financial burden. The other one is a financial boon. I mean, you guys are kind of brushing over that.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, where are you going to come up with all that money? Or, like I said, you're going to have to live a life of eating cheap food forever if you're up all the time.
Think about it, though. You could work a night shift and then a part-time job during the day.
Okay, then I'm definitely not doing that. Then that would suck to work 16 hours a day.
But you don't need to sleep. So you wouldn't be tired after that.
But still, it's like I would not. Okay, if I'm staying up and never need to sleep, but I'm working the whole time, hell no, I'm giving up food. Then if that's the trade off, there's no way I'm working during that time.
It depends on the jobs, bro.
Yeah,
if it's something you enjoy, then
even if you get a good paying job, like, so what if it'll cost you an extra couple $1,000 a year to sustain that no sleep lifestyle? I think it'd be worth it.
Man, okay, tough decisions, tough calls, but we want you guys, the audience as well, to chime in on this, and you can give us your opinions, your thoughts on Twitter. Just put in the hashtag TDP, and then also if you have ideas or suggestions for your own would you rathers, we'd love to hear them as well. You can email us at tinydiscpodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter at hashtag TDP as well, and we'll read them on the air, and we'll go through those. So we'd love to have some subscriber feedback for sure.
Yeah, and you can also follow us on Twitter at Tiny Disc Podcast for any updates about when the new episode's coming out. We're planning to publish every Thursday. So I think that about wraps us up. So let's get into the final part of the podcast. Collin, did you get any of your Switch cartridges out?
Yeah, let's do this.
Oh my god.
Get it out now. This is happening. Right now? We will wait. Don't worry. We will wait. Go get it, Collin. We're going to talk here for a while. Go.
Yeah.
How did I let you
guys?
All right.
We're in for a treat.
I'm giving into pure pressure, guys.
I don't think we talked you into this.
This is happening.
I hope you guys don't I'm not gonna start smoking or anything like that next, or I'm not gonna start doing a lot of other bad things.
This is a treat. This is Christmas came early today. Who needs a Super Nintendo when we can watch Collin just lick a Switch cartridge?
Well, we can watch him. The viewers at home will just hear his reactions and our reactions.
We need a Patreon tier for this level of entertainment, I think. But no, this is a great idea. Thanks for remembering too, because I actually forgot that was going to be a thing. So
anything for a vendetta.
Clutch. And he doesn't even have a glass of water with him. Colin's coming in.
No.
He's sitting down right now. He's putting his headphones back on, Switch cartridge in hand.
Okay, so I do think next week we need to talk him into smoking them.
Okay, so hold on. All right, let's set the stage now for the listeners. Okay, so what cartridge do you have in your hand?
This is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Have you ever tasted gaming quite this delicious before?
I mean, I put my tongue on the end of a coax cable once, an RF connector.
Did you get cable? Could you see cable from then on?
I'm dizzy,
dude. I got channel 3, channel 4. I just put my finger on the TV. I just got all those channels.
Didn't you just call us plebes earlier in the podcast? And then you come back with that?
I was fucking 4. All right.
Well, yeah. Well, now you're 21 and you're about to lick a Switch cartridge.
You are legal. This is a crime in some countries.
The inner collector in me is screaming.
Okay, so you're gonna lick it, and so you know what to expect, but you just never experienced this before.
I don't think he knows what to expect.
Here's what we need, Collin. We need a good lick, man. We need a good lick.
A good lick.
Yeah. We need to see. We need a good, solid tongue to label, and then describe everything for the audience.
Okay, so here, let's start with this. What are you expecting?
Well, Cotton, I'm expecting the label to taste very bitter. Because I know they put some sort of bitterant on it.
It's for the children. It's for the children.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like I almost picture it tasting like the adhesive on an envelope.
Oh, okay. I think it's gonna be way worse than that.
Probably worse.
I think it's gonna be
like a 10 times worse
I'm never
version.
gonna do this, by the way, but I think it would be a lot like that spray, that pet spray or puppy spray that you put on stuff so that pets don't bite things, which is really nasty. And I've had a puppy before, and I've unfortunately got that on my fingers before. It's not fun.
Now, see, I know what it tastes like, and
you've done this?
I've done this. I've done this with every cartridge I own. I own 3 Switch.
You've done this multiple times. What the hell is wrong with you, Robert?
Because I want to check for consistency.
And what were the findings? So wait, hold on. So you were in this for the science?
Yeah.
Wow. And, so what did you find?
So far, I can confirm that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, and Disgaea 5 all taste the same.
Which is?
I'm not saying it until Collin puts his damn tongue on that cartridge.
We need full sticker contact with the surface of your tongue.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Get that cartridge. Get that nice and moist.
Yeah, French it a little.
Oh God,
guys. I'm not trying to ruin the fucking game here.
Don't touch the connectors.
I'm not wanting
just
these
a
pins
label.
to corrode.
Just a label. Come on. That game's gonna hold its value even without a sticker. Let's be real.
God damn it.
Okay. All right.
Guys,
all right. Go
why
ahead.
didn't I buy 2 copies of this?
We're gonna do this 3, 2, 1. Do it. That's a pretty solid lick. That was a pretty solid
no
lick.
reaction.
Yeah, come on. Tell us what's going on through your head.
Oh, you guys are fucking pussies. This wasn't even bad.
Are you kidding?
It wasn't even bad.
You did not taste anything bitter. Your tongue didn't immediately react and think like, oh, Collin, stop, please. For the love of God, stop.
Yeah, you're telling me it's nothing?
It's kind of like spreading on my tongue now. It's kind of like... It's kind of like... No, honestly, here's exactly what it is. It's like a mixture between the adhesive on a letter, like an envelope, and like mosquito spray.
Times a billion worse.
Do you need to lick it again, Collin? I'm telling you right now, me and the listeners at home are very disappointed in this. Okay, he licked it a second time. A big lick, I would say. Would you call that a big lick, Robert?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so he's definitely got the effect. So come on, Collin, give us something to hear.
Yes,
it's spreading. It's spreading from the front of my lips, from the front of the tongue to the back, filling my palate up.
Don't forget to spit it out after.
Is it really not that bad?
The smell, 10 out of 10. Tastes like Zelda.
I think he's trying to spite us. Like, I think he's trying his hardest to grin and bear how awful it actually is to disappoint us all.
Since I've gotten this game, I have not removed it from my Switch. Well, I did once, but like I've left it in there since. So I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
I feel like it wouldn't, but I guess we can't say for sure.
I mean, it's not like overwhelming me right now. It's like it's there.
Get the bear spray out. All right. Next week it's Mace, guys. We're gonna Mace Collin in the face to get a reaction out of him.
I don't think you understand the terrible things that I've had in my mouth working where I do.
Whoa, spoilers.
So with that.
Yeah, that's the end. Cut. Robert, get us out of here. Get us out of here. End the podcast.
Where can we find you guys online, Jack?
We know where we can find Collin, apparently. After that. Oh my gosh. Okay. At Jack Cepeda, on Twitter, JACCEPEDA. Good Lord. Email us your would you rather ideas, guys. Also, at the end here at the podcast, I want to remind you that our contest is still ongoing. You have time to enter right now. So again, the rules are, let me pull them up. We want you to give us 5 stars on iTunes. That's the only way we're going to gain visibility. Also, we need you to follow us on Twitter and tweet at us using the hashtag TDP. And after you do that and subscribe to our podcast as well, you will be in the running for a large cash prize. I'm telling you, people said that we can't pay for subscribers. Well, damn it, I'm out to prove them wrong. We're giving you cash money. We are buying subscribers here. We need you guys. Honestly, in all honesty, we need you, the audience, the subscribers, to help us spread the word. If you like our podcast, if we add value to your life in any way, tell your friends, tell 2 friends, have them tell 2 friends, have them tell 2 friends. It's the only way it's going to happen. We do our best to have a professional sounding production here on you, and that might mean that we've already reached some level of success in some people's minds, but the facts could not be more that we are incredibly grassroots, and we are incredibly doing this out of the love of doing it. So we really need your guys' help to get the word out there. If you like this podcast, again, help us out, and you could earn some money, or you could win some money on the way. So, and it's a lot of money too. So it'll be worth your 5 minutes of doing that. So we appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. And Collin, for your last episode of this podcast, where can we find you?
Collin lasted 4 episodes.
Yeah, sorry guys, this is my last episode. I actually won't be here next week though.
Yes.
Sadness.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, so it'll be Robert and Jack running the show by themselves next week. I will be gone on vacation, sadly enough, but I will be back for episode 5 for sure.
6.
What's 6? No, yeah, you're
Make
right.
sure
This
you
is
come back
episode
with
4.
all your fingers too over 4th of July weekend, like real talk.
Right, exactly. Dude, I won't be able to play video games anymore. Why would I do that to myself?
You protect those digits.
Exactly. So, anyways, yes, I will not be here next week. I will be back for episode 6. You can find me on Twitter, ask me any questions, comments, concerns, at booboo2_55.
Never gets old.
And I actually was wrong. It will be episode 5. I'm just getting things mixed up.
Oh,
we don't really number these. We're starting.
Wow.
So we'll start numbering, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And you can find me, Robert Scarpanito, at Pinoptimist, PINOPTIMIST, on all the social medias. So feel free to, hit me up there, subscribe, tweet at me, follow me, whatever. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button as well for this podcast.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
One more thing. Don't forget to keep an eye on the Facebook page. Don't forget we have a Facebook group, the official Tiny Disc Facebook group that I myself am moderating. So I will be jumping in there in the next couple coming weeks, being a lot more interactive than it has been so far.
You said that last week.
Asking you guys.
You said that last week.
What?
I'm just giving you shit.
That's on the last week. All right, yeah, but I'll be posting new episodes there. Anything you guys want to talk about, post comments, questions, concerns, all that good stuff. And maybe I'll start doing some discussion starters and things like that. But yeah, just make sure you guys are trying to be active. I'll be active there too. See you there.
Sounds good. I think I should wrap us up for this episode of the Tiny Disc Podcast. Tune in next week, and we'll see you next Thursday.